we're live here. I just got to make sure. I went to make sure I didn't have my other screen up here, and I have my muted. Let's see if it still works. So, hey guys, thanks for stopping by. This is the Late Late Show with Patdees. As the title says, Eric and Jason are back, but Jason is actually not with us. His wife had to have surgery, so he's with her. So we're going to give him a pass this week, but I'm hoping that he'll be back next week.
I told him he could get in on the hotel, but he's like, no, I don't need to do that. So, he just blew us all off personally. That's all it was. So.
Yeah. Oh, Dave is busting chops. Where's Jason? We were promised. Well, you guys, it's down in the description box. You guys can still check out his channel link down there and tell Mr. Banana Findz that he stood me and Eric up again. So why don't we start out? We'll start with Glynn. Introduce yourself and who you are, what you do in your channel, and so we get that way people start coming in the room. So we'll start with you, Glynn.
Okay, I'm Glynn. I go by Swamp Picker. I do basically YouTube by Swamp Picker, Poshmark, eBay, and all the Let Go and Offer Up and Facebook Marketplace. We'll be at the
what's your channel name?
Swamp Picker, my channel name.
Okay.
And I'll be at the Nashville meetup next week if anybody wants to hang out.
Cool. And if anyone doesn't know, me and Glynn, or actually, we have two things in common. We joined the 1,000 Club on YouTube the same day, and we're going to stay together down at Nashville together. And so I'm excited to meet Glynn in person, and that will be down there for probably late Thursday night, and then Friday and Saturday, and then getting ready to kind of come home Sunday. But I actually plan on swinging through and stopping to see our one of our other guests here, John Johnson from Nevermore Antiques. So, John, tell them who you are and what your channel is.
My name is John Johnson. I run an antique store / hodgepodge parlor. I've got a little bit of everything inside of my shop. We've been selling on eBay since 1997, and I've had one other antique shop, and I used to have a toy store, and I've never really told this story. I won't go into it in detail now, but I used to have a toy store at it's kind of like a mall, and it didn't go over too well, and then I transferred into what I am today, antiques and collectibles.
Hey, real quick, I want to thank Adam for the $2 super chat. No super stickers. What's up with that? That must be a setting I have to turn on, because I'll be honest, I enjoy sending those stickers to others, so I didn't even know it was something that's not turned on. So I'll have to look into it and see what that is. But now we're going to go to and John, we're going to be back talking to you about what's going on with your store and our meetup. So thanks again, Adam. We're going to go to Anthony, and then I'll go to my normal co-host. We'll let Eric be last, since he's we're a little upset that Jason's not here this week. So Anthony, tell them who you are.
Sure. What's up, everyone? My name is Anthony. My YouTube channel is called Picksburgh. I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I do a lot of yard sales, garage sales, estate sales, flea markets, thrift stores, Goodwill bins. Pretty much anywhere I can go find stuff that's cheap, turn around and flip it on eBay for a profit. That's what my channel is all about, so I take you guys along on that journey with me. I also do Bible studies on my channel every Tuesday. I do live video game playing, like retro video games, and I also like tear apart consoles and stuff like that and fix them, teach people how to do that. I do that typically on Friday afternoons, 2 p.m., and then I do like live working hangouts every Saturday at 3. So a whole bunch of stuff's going on the channel. So if you haven't checked us out yet, definitely check us out.
Yeah, I bought a couple things. I just bought those Mickey Mouse collectibles from you on your auction the one day. So thank you. Thanks for coming in. I know sometimes you can't stay late on a Saturday night, but I was short this week, and I said, hey, can you come and help me out?
Yeah.
And I appreciate the short notice stopping in and hanging out with us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, man.
All right, and my co-host here.
Hello, everybody. I'm Eric, known as a Nameless Picker because I don't have an imagination. And I primarily, I sell on eBay online only. I don't do any other online forums except for I do run an auction out of my garage once a month. Primarily selling things that I bought in bulk or things that I don't want to ship or just kind of a pain in the butt for eBay. I have a YouTube channel. I'm not very active on it because quite frankly, I'm just too busy selling. I'm trying to dig myself out of all my purchases. So as Pat knows, he saw us at an auction last week. So that's pretty much what I'm about.
Yeah, and as now there's more people in the room. Yeah, Jason was supposed to be here, but his wife had surgery, so he should be back next week. Now, next week I will be in Nashville, but the plan is to go live from Nashville, and Eric and Jason will join us. And it'll be a little bit neat background to kind of see what's going on. Hope it's not chaotic when everything is going on. So it's going to be kind of neat to do a live from out of state and at a place I've never actually been to before. So everybody wants to subscribe to the people in the who are on here today. If their description's in the box, and if they're chatting, always click those 3 dots on the right. I
forgot to mention something, Pat. Tonight's show is brought to you by Thirsty Dog Siberian Night Beer. So it's so I mean,
Thirsty Dog. Okay.
That's right.
I'm gonna go over the chat real quick and just welcome everybody. Give me a couple minutes, guys. We got obviously Glynn is in the room. Dave, thank you. Dave was here 25 minutes early. Wild Man, Jesse, right, John? Yeah. He's here. Myra Elaine. I'm sorry, John. I didn't realize you were muted. It's always hard to keep the names and the YouTube names straight together. So Myra Elaine is here. Kimmy is here. Thank you, Kimmy. Picksburgh and Eric are here. Stephen Stray. Hey, buddy. Thank you for stopping in. CH Enterprise is here. Landshark Picker is here. Craig. Grind Finds Justin is here. Donatella is here. Actually, Donatella is going to be a guest next week. Kimmy, I leave probably Wednesday night or Thursday. So Kimmy is hosting our Thursday night live show 2 weeks in a row. So Donatella, she lives in Florida and she buys storage units and she does auctions and stuff. And actually, if you watch my mystery box, I got it from her and a nice lady. So she's coming on for the interview on Thursday night. And I actually plan to stop somewhere where I can go live. I tried to do that this week. And the problem is we were doing filming, and some of the filming I was doing was with my phone, and we got caught in a rainstorm, and I didn't have the phone charged up enough, and I was trying to save that to be able to get directions back home. So I apologize. I was only on the show about 10 minutes last Thursday. Chris is here. Adam, again, thanks for the super chat. Did I miss anybody here? Stuff from Sally is here. Hello, Stuff from Sally. I don't think Tiffany Eat Sleep Amazon. Thank you. Rusty Raccoon. Rusty Raccoon, I think he's going to be down. Glenn, he's going to be down. Jeremy from What the Hells is here. I'm sure George is with him. If you guys,
famous George, is that her?
I'm not down there yet. Yeah, if George is there, Dawn, I think Dawn, I've seen you in other chats, but I think this is the first time coming checking out my channel, so thank you. I appreciate it. Infamous George, yep. Jack from Locker Nuts is here. Thank you. My son, Big Red, that's my son. He's watching the old man a little bit tonight. I think that's everybody. So, yeah, what's going on? If anyone, real quick, if anyone is going to Nashville, in the chat, do me a favor and put a 1. I'm going to put a 1 because I'm going. I'm curious to see how many people are going. Eric, Dawn is saying hello to you.
I know. I said hi, Dawn.
Oh, okay.
Dawn goes way back. Dawn's been around for a long time.
Yeah, she's been there a long time.
Oh, okay. Grind Finds, Justin, you're not going. So it looks like right now, well, I think Rusty Raccoon's supposed to be going too. Oh, there's Scott, the bearded picker. Scott,
1.5.
He might go. You're the host. You have to go. We were on
There's
I was
lots
on
there.
that show last night and stuff. Yeah, Craig, are you going or not? You have a -1. He really
I
didn't
think
say.
he got his kids at school or something, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, they got to move that event either to July or earlier in August, even, I guess. I mean, I think some people started this week or a few people started last week. They just got to figure out just a little bit earlier time. I mean, because like I said, I can bring my son with me, but if he's got school, I'm not taking him out of school. So
Right, I don't blame you.
I think the hell they're waiting for him. Like, hey, just show up.
Yeah.
You don't get invited, you just show up.
Here's Dusty asking, where is Jason?
he knows where Jason's at. He's just busting Jason's chops.
I only tuned in because of Jason. Well, hey Eric, you got to do the loud typing tonight. So, so how did you make out actually, Eric, last week with the auction? If anyone doesn't know, I hung out with Eric and Jason. We went to upstate New York and we went to an estate auction that started at 10 o'clock in the morning. What time did it finally end that night?
They stopped. The bidding finally ended about 8:30. We finished packing and loading up, and we're on the road by 9:15, something like that. But we've been packing throughout the whole auction too.
Right.
And we left a lot of stuff we actually bought. We bought rooms out of the house and just cherry picked it out, and then left the stuff there.
Oh, really?
That we didn't want. We ran out of space. I mean, I had a rental van. We had ended up with between the two of us, we brought 21 27 to 30 gallon totes, and they were all packed full, and then we were packing stuff in outside of the totes as well. We were full. So we left, I don't know, I probably left 250 books there. There was a lot of stuff we left just because the value wasn't good enough to take and just didn't have enough room. Gave some stuff away. Jason bought one of the sheds. He cleaned the shed out of the stuff that he wanted, and then we just the way that works is you clean out what you want, and when you're done with it, just say, hey, anybody wants anything out of the shed, be my guest, take it. And so you get a lot of things get cleaned up that way too. So
now was that the one that we didn't know about and had like all that computer stuff in it?
That was the where he did a lot of the watch work, where we bought the lathe out of the shed, but he bought the one that he bought the rights to the rest of it, and ended up pulling out a lot of really, really good stuff out of there. He found a couple of cases of pocket watches. He found the books he took out of there were fantastic, like old clockmakers books and things like that. So he'll do really well with that stuff. And then we hit the road at like 9:15, and we had a 4.5 hour drive back. Jason went to his house, and I went to a hotel by a shop, and then we met up in the morning, and we basically went through everything again and separated it out. And Jason took all the tooling and all the clockmaker stuff, and I took the radio and the ephemera and the political stuff. So
yeah, I know there was a lot of, and I still have I did a live from there. If anyone follows my channel, it was about an hour and 10 minutes, and people kind of thought it was. I was actually surprised. There was probably about at one time 25, 30 people watching it just to see. And the auctioneer was a good sport because at one time they realized I was filming, and they said they called me the cameraman. And so no one gave me a hard time when I was there.
Unfortunately, that guy's voice was like razor blades, and we listened to 10 hours of it. So you just got to imagine what our pain level was on that thing. So when you go watch that video, just imagine sitting there for 10 hours. And the guy never took a break. I mean, the guy was a machine. He never took a break, never slowed down. It was a bit odd, his methods, but it's the first time I'd ever been at that auctioneer. Now, we did meet up with Bridget, I think it was.
Bridget,
who does the Chick Picker show. Check that out in the mornings on Chick Picker channel. She does it. She was there. She says she goes to him a lot, so she's used to his methods. But yeah, we wasn't bad. Like I said, we did well. We spent a fair amount of money. And I'm sure we'll do fine on it. I mean, I should. I don't know, I'm gonna guess my take's gonna be somewhere in the 8,000 to 10,000 range by the time I get it all up. I found a few things that are really cool. A political button that the last button sold for was like $1,600. I've got one of those. Mine's not in as nice a condition as the one that sold for $16,000, so I'm thinking $400 or $500 for that one button. I bought a lot of Teddy Roosevelt ephemera, stuff like that. So that should be interesting. And then like this thing back here is just full of political buttons. So that's kind of what I've started working on first, is the political buttons, and I'll get to the antique radio stuff and the ephemera as time goes on.
Yeah, I mean, when I was there, we had probably about 8 totes at that time. I had bought some things. I actually have to do a video because one of the viewers wanted me to. There was a fake Rolex, and he wanted me to buy it, and the whole box wound up selling. So I went up to the guy that bought the box, and I offered just to buy that watch. And I think Nate wanted it as a gag gift or something, but I sent it to him at cost. I didn't make no money off of doing it.
You left entirely too soon because after about 5, I don't know what time you left, but
Quarter to 5,
about 5:30, 5:45, the bottom fell out of the prices and it went nuts. We were buying just tons of stuff and spending no more than $10, $15 a box.
Wow.
It like I said, we only had like 8 totes filled up until the time you left, and we filled the other 13 totes after you left, and probably only spent another $800 after that.
Yeah.
So it went a little crazy afterwards. People just they got tired of it, and even their good radio stuff, just the bottom fell out of the market. And that's what we always try to tell people: if you're going to go to an auction, be there first, be there last.
Yeah.
You'll make the most money that way.
Kind of like last minute.
I spent $220 when I was there, and I think I got about 9 watches. And probably, I think me and you were talking. The 3 watches are worth about $100, the nicer ones.
Jason and I together, and I don't know the exact split or anything, but we ended up splitting about $5,200. So we're somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
And we both should easily do 8,000 to 10,000 out of that. So figure that's a 16,000 to 20,000 for our $5,000. So
yeah. Now, do any of you other guys go to auctions like that? I know Jeremy, what the hell's a 10-hour auction, and I'll be honest, the auction. I was surprised how long it was, and I said I have to get back home because when I do the Saturday show here, I always like to make sure I'm home about an hour before, and I got home around 8 o'clock, 8:15, and then kind of got set up before the show was, and then we had the ladies on last week.
I listened to the show last week on the drive back. The problem was it wasn't so much the auction. I mean, I've done longer auctions. Jason and I went to one last year. We spent like 17 hours at. When you go to a big auction, you plan on spending a lot of time. It was the fact we spent the night before at a town about an hour and a half from there. We were in Binghamton, New York, and it was about an hour and a half drive from there to the auction. But it was the fact that we had a 4.5 hour drive on the back end of that auction kind of sucked. Usually we would spend the night, but then I would have been facing a 3-hour drive back to the shop, and then I'd have another 8-hour drive home. So it was kind of it was going to suck driving no matter what you did. So.
Okay.
Eric, I stayed in Binghamton like in '87 for a race. You wasn't near a place called Berlin or New Berlin, New York, was you?
We were in Earlsville, New York.
Yeah.
I don't know about Berlin. I don't really know New York very well.
Well,
it was south of Utica is where it was. We were south of Utica and areas around there.
Right. So. Yeah, this is like middle farm country here. It's like one of the probably the best race tracks in the country or the world. But like I said, when I saw the auction, I said, that's not too far from where I think that race was at. It was like an hour and a half from New York City or so, maybe 2 hours.
We were in the middle of the state, so we were probably I'd say we were probably a good 5 hours from New York City.
Okay, because this was like about an hour and a half from Binghamton, because that's where we stayed at for the race.
Yeah, we went north. Probably to go that way, you probably have to go east to get closer to New York City. We were almost directly north of Binghamton.
Okay.
And I've been up through that area before when I worked for Ollie's. I'd drive up through there to go hit Rochester and Cheektowaga and some of the places like that up there. But this place was surprisingly, for being out in the middle of nowhere, cell signal was great. Had no trouble with finding the place. There's plenty of parking. I mean, it was actually a really nice little location to do an auction. It just took a long time, and there was a lot of high dollar stuff there. I mean, I saw 2 or 3 radios go for over $1,000. I mean, they were
that shocked me. Something that looked like a piece of board with two.
It shocked me a little bit, but I knew the comps on those were $3,000 to $5,000 on eBay. So I mean, they were good deals even at $1,000.
Yeah.
But that was old. That's Atwater Kent, what they call Atwater Kent breadboard radios. If you ever see those, and you can get them cheap. There's different models, so they all bring different prices. I got 4 or 5 old wooden antique radios that are Atwater Kent. So those are the comps on one I looked up was $575. So I mean, I'll do really well with that. And I think I paid $30 for it because again, things went cheap at the end. So All the radio guys had left. All the clock guys had left. Jason got just tons and tons and tons of pocket watches and pocket watch parts and things like that. So.
Yeah, the stuff went more for than the house did.
Yeah, the house only sold for 17, and I guarantee you that they probably brought in 30, 35 in the auction as a minimum.
Yeah. Oh, I think so for sure. And the house had a generator, a 2-car garage, and 2 sheds on an acre. I was talking to the guy that bought it. His son just graduated, and he lives a couple houses up the street. So he was going to kind of do something for his son right there to, I guess a good, to get in, probably because even if he put $30,000 in the house, it was a nice area. The only difficult part was about the auction was I had bought a window air conditioner, and I had to park probably about a half a mile up the hill from the auction because you had to park on the side of the road, and it was a pretty heavy traveled road.
That's why we were there early, because we were only about 4 cars down from the opening. So
yeah, what time did you guys get there?
We got there at 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I got there at 10:15 in the morning, and like I said, I stayed till 4:45. And that was probably the longest auction I had been to. But I mean, I've left auctions not knowing when they, the time stop, but nothing else interested me. I mean, I couldn't believe how many watches and clocks, and that seemed to be the common theme: the watches, the clocks, and the radio.
The guy must have had 250 pocket watches there, and they were selling them by the piece, and it was taking forever to sell through them. So if you're there to buy pocket watches, it was crazy. I saw a guy bought 41 pocket watches at $60 a piece.
Yeah, well, that kid that was with his dad, that one time, I think it was 67. They bought at like 27. It equaled $950 some. I remember them.
They bought most of the pocket watches. I mean, it was kind of crazy though, because when I've been to an auction, and most of the time when you're doing a choice type thing, you get a very limited amount of time to pick because they want to keep the auction moving. Well, they sold pocket watches, and the first guy took an hour to pick, and he picked one watch.
Yeah.
And over there, literally, we were watching. He was looking up the watches on eBay to see what they go for before he made his pick. And you had an hour preview. You had plenty of time before they even got to the pocket watches to look that stuff up. So things like that will slow an auction down. But a good auctioneer will force it. Come on, man, you guys got 5 minutes to pick, get it done so we can keep selling this stuff. And then when they sold the books, they literally left all the books in the house, and there was conservatively 2,000 books in the house. Wow. And they would literally sell the books by the piece. You had to go up to the house, pick your books, and come back and tell them how many you had. So you had to literally leave the auction, go up and pick, and then come back down and tell them how many books you had. And that's an insane way to sell stuff like that. Right.
It was.
That's why it took so long. If he hadn't done weird stuff like that, we probably would have been out by 4. But
the sad part was some of the furniture went really cheap.
Extremely cheap.
Yeah, I mean I just don't think people just wanted to be bothered. I have a video coming out, but I haven't edited it yet. But this was a watch that I actually had picked up. Probably the nicest watch that I got. It says, listed. I'm gonna look it up.
That's a Hopalong Cassidy watch, right? Isn't that the girl from Hopalong Cassidy or whatever?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. Yep. And it says the value of $50 to $100.
It's only worth $40 maybe.
Right. I only paid $10 for it.
The deal in the watches, the best watches I thought that sold were they had the Ingersoll Mickey Mouse watches. If you don't know Mickey Mouse watches, Ingersoll is the only Mickey Mouse watches you really want to buy, and those are 1930s. And they sold for $130 a piece, and the comps on those are somewhere between $300 and $400 a piece. I was in them up to 130. I think the guy bought 3 of them at 135 or 140, and then so I dropped out because I didn't want to mess him at that point. And he bought the rest of them. He was paying like $125 for the rest. I had like 5 or 6 watches, and there was a broken pocket watch Ingersoll that went for fairly cheap, but it was parts watch at best. So
right. So what's going on with you, Anthony, this week? I know you can't always hang around long. I thanks again for stopping in. Is that something you're going to do? Start more? You did an auction this past week.
Yeah, I do it every once in a while. Like I'm on a rotation with Derek. I did just talk with T from My Great Finds for You. She's starting an auction 3 days a week, and she had mentioned maybe having me on a Wednesday evening. The way I get stuff is,
I know T. That's right.
Yeah, I buy stuff like in I'm kind of like squirreling up. Like, as you know, Pat, living in Pennsylvania, yard sale season doesn't last long. So
No.
I'm trying to squirrel stuff up for the winter. That way I constantly have stuff to list. Because unless you're constantly feeding eBay, you're not getting the sales volume that, you really need to live off of eBay year round. So essentially what I do during yard sale season is I'm acting like a squirrel trying to store up all these nuts, trying to make sure I have good inventory to list. And I just have more stuff than I can list pretty much. So what I do is like once or twice a month, I'll just get together, 10 lots of stuff. And just like I did the other night, go through and, sell off some stuff just for a little extra, shot in the arm for my sales for the week.
Oh, I want to. Pusa Studios is in the house with a $5 super chat. Thank you, I appreciate it. Says $5 from Pusa. Hey there, Patdees. Great to catch you live, and big love from us both. They're from overseas. They have. If you guys haven't checked them out, they have a channel that's close to about 10,000 subscribers, and I found them in Adam's room the other day, and I was watching them the other day and talking to them a little bit, and I actually like to have them come on as a guest on me and Kimmy's show Thursday Night Live, and just it's neat to meet people from all over the world, and it doesn't always have to be even reseller related for that show, because I like to know what people do for a living and how they make a living and neat things that they do, and it's just being a YouTube and all of us here on the panel create videos for YouTube, so yeah. I mean that's part of our resume. And so, I'm hoping one day maybe they'll come on the show and join me and Kimmy. So I see Jason Statics in the room. Hey, Jason, thanks for stopping, buddy. I appreciate it. We got like 48 people in here right now. I appreciate that. Real quick, since we got 48 in the room, last week I did if anyone's watched, I did the VHS movie with you guys, the 500,000 movies. Well, every Saturday I'm going to give out 2 copies of the VHS movies, just in a sense. Eric, you're laughing. You can't win.
No, I already won. Remember, you dropped 2 movies for me and 2 movies for Jason under our totes. So
right, exactly. And they're brand new and sealed. So it's Goldmember and Rush Hour 2, brand new, sealed. I'm gonna put in the private chat what the answer is, because I'll need their help if they see it first. Now, Rick, Star City Picker, was the winner last week. All I need you guys to tell me is, who Chris Tucker is in the movie. His birthday is this month of August. Just put in the chat what year he was born, and the first person that guesses will get these 2 free movies sent to him for free. So that's all. And we could still continue to talk while people just put their answers in there, and that'd be great. So again, just put the year in, and thank you.
Steve already got it.
Oh, jeez. He's fast. Yep.
And for everybody else that guesses, you get 4 copies of the movies. 1971. Steve Alcorn got it.
Yep, Steve Alcorn. Hey, Steve, I'm going to see you. I'm going to see you next week in Nashville. Steve's going to be in Nashville. Actually, I'll give them to you right then. I'll be on. That'll save me the $5 to ship them out, and I'll make sure that you get them. And one of the things I'm doing is below. I've sold a couple of these cases. What I'm doing is putting some of these with other VHSs I sell and VCRs and stuff I sell. I had about 10. I don't know roughly. I'd have to do the case count, but I have anywhere from 10 to 11,000 5 different movies and I've already sold a bunch of them already. So thank you guys. I wanted to do it while we had this many people in the room to give everybody a chance, but Steve was quick on the draw there. So thank you. So John, I want to talk. How's your store doing?
He's still muted right now. There.
Yeah, doing really well. I keep it muted because I have a house full of kids, and if I'm not muted, you guys will be nuts like I am. We're doing pretty good today. We were kind of slow starting out, but as the day went on, it really got busy. I had some YouTube people that followed me on YouTube. They came in, and it's really weird when you get someone who comes in and they're looking at you and they're like they know you, and you're like, I don't know you. And he looked like a real super cool guy, but I'm like, why are you looking at me like that? And I'm like, do I know you? And he goes, no, but I know you. And I'm like, oh boy. And he goes, I've been watching you on YouTube. So I thought that was kind of cool. But so that's the neat part. Some of the best part is the stuff that walks through the door. I need to figure out a way to record some of this stuff so that people can see how I deal with people as they come through the door. Because sometimes you get just amazing stuff, and sometimes it's absolute garbage. And I hate having to tell people that their stuff isn't any good. But I like telling people when their stuff comes through the door that it's good, that it's great. And I've got a lot to learn. I had a lady bring me in a bunch of gold jewelry the other day, and I told her, I said, ma'am, I said, I don't know enough about this to do either one of us justice. But I looked through it and found like 5 or 6 pieces that were gold. But I don't even know how. I mean, it's out of my wheelhouse.
You got to learn the gold market.
Or John, if somebody brings somebody in and then you say, okay, this is what it's selling for, like, you know, like Pete Craigslist pulls his laptop and shows them, and this is what I can offer you. But you doing like consignment, would you do like, so this is the consignment price if you leave it, or I buy it right now and pay you this for it?
What I typically do when somebody brings something in, I have a laptop that I use, but my wife has a really nice laptop that I bought her at auction. You can just attach the top. It's a touchscreen laptop.
Right.
It's a real nice. Who is it made by, Megan? HP. It's an HP laptop with a detachable screen, so I can just look stuff up on it, and I can turn it around and just show the customer what their item sells for. But what I find, here's a quick story. I had a guy come in and he brought me like 8 Mexican paper dolls. And the dolls, I looked them up. They sold for about $6 a piece, just cheap novelty things you get when you cross over the border. And I was like, you know, you got 8 of them. There's 6 of them there. That's like, what, $48? I was like, what are you needing out of them? Like, what do you want to sell them for? And he goes, oh, I'm probably going to need $60 out of them. And I'm like, wait a second, I'm not really good at math, but I'm going to jump out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that $60 is more than 48 if I can count correctly. And I told him, I said, I can't pay that. I said, I'm thinking 20. So, like, I ended up not buying them because he said that he paid more than that for them. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry. I was like, well, you make your money when you buy it, not when you sell it. Yep. So like in the beginning, honestly, this time a month ago, this is like, I'm a nice guy. Like, I don't like to hurt people's feelings, but a month ago I was getting roughshod. People were running over me roughshod. Like they were walking through the door and I was just pouring money out of my register. And then I'm like, I'm not going to be in business very long if I keep making stupid buys. So now I just tell people like there's a flag right here. You can kind of see a little flag right there if you can. My internet's so bad here at home. It'd be a flag there. And I went to a pick tonight and went through this guy's whole garage. And I found that flag, and it was dusty and dirty. And I was like, how much do you want for this flag? Because it's a 48-star flag, and I just sold one on the internet for $70. And I told my friend that was with me how much they're worth. And I said, let's see what I can get it for. And the guy's like, what do you want to pay for it? And I said, well, I'll do 15. I said, it's kind of dirty. I said, you can keep the case that it came in because it had somebody else's name on it. Well, I started talking to the guy, and he's one of those dickerers. So I know that I was going to have to hit him low because any price that I hit him with, he was going to add on to that because that's just the way he rolls. So he ended up saying 25, and I said, the ATM don't spit out $5 bills. I said, I got to go get some cash. And I said, and it'll spit me out a 20. And we walked around talking a little bit more, and I eventually bought that flag for $20. And my friend, we went back over to his mother's house, and he goes, you're going to make a killing on that flag. I said, not really, man. I said, because if you break down how much I'm going to have to pay in fees, to eBay, to the government, to everything, I said, we really don't make a whole lot. I was like, you think that I'm getting rich? I said, but I pay more people than I'll pay more out than I will ever make on that item. And you guys understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Especially with the brick and mortar. I mean, I'm fortunate that like I just really only have to pay my electric bill and my insurance and my internet. I couldn't. I don't know how people could do it if they had real, you know, if they had real world problems that I don't seem to have. No, I'm not in Canada. I am in Fredericktown, Missouri. My store is 117 East Main, Fredericktown, Missouri. So if you're ever this way, come look me up.
Yeah, I think that's what most people they never take into account what you really have to pay out to resell. I mean, you know, yeah, you got to buy the stuff, but oh, you're making 10 times the value on it. Well, you know, after I take an offer on it, because I'm never going to get what I listed for usually. So you take an offer on it, okay, then I got to pay my shipping. I got to pay the fees on eBay fees. I got to pay the PayPal fees, and even if you're in managed payments, you're paying, you know, processing payment fees no matter what. So that doesn't go away just because you're in managed payments. So those all fees come out, and that's 15% of your sale price plus shipping right off the bat. Then you're shipping, and then now you got to pay taxes on all that stuff, and then you got to pay your Social Security taxes and income taxes. I mean,
yeah.
By the time you get done with it, and you haven't even talked about rent or anything like that. By the time you get done with it, you're lucky if you're bringing home a third of what you sold it for.
Well, you pay $70 for an item. Okay, you pay $20 for a $70 item. Okay, you take $20 away, you got $50 left. 15% is coming off of that 70. So $1.50 for every 10 that you spend. So what is that? I mean, a dollar. You know, you're looking at $10.50 exactly. So now you're down to $40, and you know, then you got to pay the government. So if you can, you know, by the end of the day, I get a little bit more than double my money. And I tell people if they walk through the door, I said, here's what I can do for you. You can put it in my store, and we're going to charge you 30% commission, and we're going to give you 70. But what I'm going to do for my part of the commission is, what I'm going to do for my part of the commission is I'm going to market your item. I'm going to be there in store so you don't have to meet some crazy person at a Walmart parking lot. And I'm going to handle all the remitting of the sales tax to the state. I mean, you can walk away. You don't have to worry about anything at the end of the day, just me writing you a check and having you sign a piece of paper that states that I can actually sell that item and that you own it and it's not stolen.
And I think that's what Dusty was pointing out, that when people say that, you know, you basically, go sell it on your own then on eBay, and good luck, because you know you're running a business. I want to address something real quick. Nana Chick had mentioned something about wish the show could go on a little earlier. Now we are 11 o'clock East Coast time here. The reason I don't go on earlier is out of respect to other YouTube friends, content creators that go live. So we try to keep a schedule so that everybody can have do a show, and you know, that's why we go live at this time. It is late, but that's what we've been sticking to. We and the show's been pretty successful. So I do thank everyone that joins us. And keep in mind, everybody else. I mean, John, you're at 10. You're an hour behind, and then if you're in California, you're 3 hours behind. So, you know, this is why we do it. I mean, it's long. I mean, we go into 1:30 many times and stuff. So that's why we don't do it at that time, because of other people doing lives before us. So we have that's why we call it the late show. So, but thank you. I appreciate it. And we have 58 people actually in the room tonight. And that's great. I really appreciate the support. You know, the channel, you know, I started 6 months ago with 17 subscribers. It hit 1,000 probably about 4 weeks ago, became monetized 3 weeks ago. And it's been a great experience. And part of what I've been doing, and I've hung out now with Eric 2 times and Jason a couple times. And this has been, me and Anthony are working on something for future plans, because we both live in Pennsylvania. Glynn, we're going to hang out in Nashville. When I come up through, I'm going to kind of go a little bit out of my way, and I'm going to do something with John at Nevermore. I know he's closed that day, but I'm hoping that maybe we can do something special that day, because I really like to really, my favorite show is American Pickers. I don't get much time to watch it anymore as we do this YouTube, but I'm hoping to really. I want to do maybe 2 videos that features. Maybe he can give me a little history of some of the items and stuff at his store. And John's been a friend of mine for probably the last 4 or 5 months, and he's been very supportive. And he's been a great friend to talk to, and I enjoy hanging out with everybody here. I enjoy hanging out with, and I only invite people to come on the show that I enjoy hanging out with. So I appreciate all these guys coming on and support me when they do. So thank you. So I hope that addresses any of the chat that's in the side. Thank you. Go ahead.
John, are you open on Thursdays? What days are you open on?
I am open on, right now I'm open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We open 11 to 5.
Right.
Oh, no. My wife corrected me. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You think I should know this stuff by now. But we're open 4 days a week at the moment. We sell so much stuff out of our store, and I'm afraid that if I was open 5 days a week, I couldn't even keep it stocked. I'd have to raise my prices, and I don't really want to do that because the model that I'm working on right now is the percent. What I'm trying to do is bring stuff into the store and only mark it up a little bit. Like most of the items that I find that are not antique, they're more hodgepodge or more bric-a-brac. I only mark them $3 to $8, and we are selling just crazy amounts of stuff. Like it walks out the door. So I would like to be open 5 days a week, and maybe this wintertime I will be. And as I get the store filled with more antique stuff, I'll probably switch to 5 days a week. So yeah, but we are open on Thursdays. That's a long story to say we're open on Thursdays.
Well, eventually, I saw your basement. So eventually, you're going to have your base of operation downstairs, even though you'll be closed. You'll be working.
Oh yeah, yeah. I went down. I started hanging my bicycle collection in the basement because I wanted to get all my bikes in the back before I started filling up the front of the basement. Because I mean, I'm 40 years old. I don't ride bikes anymore. I just love them, and I have like 4 or 5. I have 4 BMX and like 3 old bikes that I've picked up that are not on my sales floor upstairs. And once I get those things hung up in the back, I'm bringing in all my shelving and stuff like that, just because we're going to move everything there. It's going to be so much easier.
Before I used to see you like where you're standing at now, you had all kind of inventory. So eventually that room would be free of inventory. So when you come home, you're not looking at inventory. You're looking at your actually house.
Yeah, I've even still I've got stuff behind me. I've got a big box there that we're going to be shipping. I've got a grill off of a Jeep that I bought at an auction. Car parts make great money, guys, and this was a really cool buy. And somebody changed the grill off the front of their car, and I picked it up at auction pretty cheap, so we were able. It's real light; it's just plastic, so we're able to ship it. And car parts, man, that's where the money's at. Car parts.
Got a man cave item hanging up. We could do is put clocks on both sides.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, you can do a lot with that.
Round clocks in the headlight area. Well,
somebody asked Nana Chick 05. So, is a GoPro necessary for YouTube, or can you just use your phone? This is what I'm currently using. For mine, I actually have a GoPro that I'm throwing all over the place here. This is a GoPro that I use. This is a camera that I use, and you can use your phone. Use your phone. Phones have awesome cameras.
I might, look and see how far it is from here. If I might take a long way to Nashville, I might go up to your place on a Thursday and cut across maybe. The time differences.
If anyone, especially any of my buddies, they like Glynn, you come up any day you want, bro. Any day. If I'm closed, I got keys. I know the guy that owns the place. We can walk around. We can do whatever you want to do.
This type of stuff would sell in your store, wouldn't it? Like kitchen canisters. This is like from the late '60s or very early '70s.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't know a lot about pottery. Most of the stuff that I sell
like tea canister. But this came out of a set, but I don't have the whole set.
a lot of the stuff that I sell is either
Hey,
I've got.
Glenn, hold that up again. There we go.
No, I actually got, my grandmother had a set, and I got it in my kitchen. It's kind of my, like, what's the restaurant? Country, whatever.
Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel. I got it that kind of my kitchen looking like that, you know, all kind of old ceramic cans, things like this. And I got the whole set. It's like sugar, rice, or something like that. It's like 4 of these. I found this at a garage sale for $1.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I'm assuming stuff like that, people would come in your store and want to buy stuff like that. Probably, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, and I have a buddy that me and my friend Paul, you'll see him in some of my videos. He does a lot of the glassware because I just don't know much about it.
You know, stuff like that, you know, probably in your store like that. Oh,
yeah, that's cool. What is that?
A leather decanter from like Italy. This is leather. You know what? But
I like decorative stuff because it's what sells. I had one of my YouTube subscribers say, you know, you sell more hodgepodge than anything. It really isn't an antique store.
right.
And I'm like, well, I like eating, so I sell what the people are buying. And being from and being here in Fredericktown, Missouri, people are coming in looking for the for as many antiques as they are. A lot of that stuff goes on eBay. If you want antiques,
See that type of
check
stuff.
out my eBay.
Probably like if you have like a little kitchen section, old milk bottle boardings.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
You know?
So you don't do very much glassware, John?
No, I did pick up a couple of punch bowls today, and they were beautiful. One came in the box. I paid $3 a piece for them. Now here's I'm learning, guys. This is the best part about my YouTube channel is I really don't know a whole lot. Like when it comes, if you don't notice, I don't know a lot about some of the stuff. I dove into this because I'm not. You got me. Whenever I see Dusty write something, I have to stop and read it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm learning, and the only way to learn really is just to do. So that's what I did. Is I'm gonna do this because our eBay stuff pays for everything, so we're okay. I mean, if the store doesn't make it, I'll turn it into something else. I go to a pop culture shop. I had a young kid because I sold VCR tapes. I sold all 4 of the original VCR Jaws and a VCR to a kid for $25, package deal out the door. I bought the 4 VCR tapes from Goodwill for $1, and the VCR I picked up at a yard sale for probably $1. It's just about making money. That's the best part. I don't care what I sell as long as it's legal and it's honoring to God. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of glassware, Glenn?
I sell a little bit, but I got so much stuff. You know, it's part of all that behind me. It's part of my, I guess, what you call death pile.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm gonna have to pick your brain. I'm helping a lady who used to come to our church do a clean out, and the place we're doing it, it's like literally American Pickers like hoarder house. There's a house and like 3 barns, and then a couple like mobile homes on this property, just full of junk that need like out of there like ASAP because it's like at a ex-spouse's house.
Right.
So, but she's been collecting glassware her whole life, and supposedly she has a lot of like really expensive stuff.
Right.
So I've been working out like a 50-50 consignment with her. You know what I mean? To kind of sell off her stuff for her. But I don't know.
I'd do more than that, you know, if I was doing consignment.
Yeah.
Do you know a lot about glassware?
I don't know anything about glassware. That's why I was asking.
I have a buddy, my buddy Paul. He's my glass guy. If you have any questions, just let me know and I'll connect you and Paul together. That's my thing. If you don't know someone who does. Like today I made another connection. I found a guy that he came down to the auction in my video I'm getting ready to put out. There's a pinball machine there, and he owns a pinball machine store. So I got his name and I got his information. so that I could contact him in the future, because he buys Wurlitzer jukeboxes, pinball machines, arcade games, and I'm like, how great is this guy to have?
Jason is an expert in those fields too.
Jason is?
Yeah, Jason used to have, at one point he had over 30 arcade machines and pinball machines, and he's got he's got a pinball machine in the shop. I mean, Jason's knows a lot about any type of gaming from the 80s and 70s, 80s, and 90s. Jason's an expert in.
Build a catalog, guys. Build a catalog like Jason. I didn't know that he's going to go in my catalog for guys that can help me out. Because there's two catalogs I have: people with the information, and then people I sell to. Like, I've got cast iron guys, I've got toy guys, I've got die cast guys, I've got, old like paper guys, because anything you can sell that's not on eBay to collectors, that's just more money that's in your pocket. Plus, I sold 2 cast irons. I sold a Griswold. I sold a pre-Griswold Erie 711 number 8 Griswold with a heat ring. Beautiful. Walked into my store. I paid $25 for it, and I ended up having a divot in it. I didn't do anything to it. Flipped it and made $50 on it. And then the same guy bought a Griswold waffle maker, and that was a beautiful piece. I didn't even have to do anything to that. That was a flip for a friend, but quid pro quo. Now he owes me one.
Oh, John, you're gonna be like that guy on Pawn Store when somebody comes in for an item and say, "Hey, let me get my expert to come in and look at it."
Exactly.
And you come back like an hour, and he'll be here.
Yeah. No, it's normally what it is. My expert is, I use Terapeak, I use WorthPoint, I use eBay, and I tell people, I'm just straight up and honest with people. I'll be like, look, I can't pay you full mark on that. I can't pay you what it's worth. I can help. I'll sit here all day long and talk to you about your item, and we'll discuss what it's worth. But at the end of the day, just like that flag I got back there, my job is to buy it and to get it as cheap as possible so that I can feed my family and keep the doors open on my business. I'm not your buddy. I'm not your friend. I'm a guy that you're doing business with, and I'm not going to cheat you. I'm not going to lie, and I never lie to nobody. If somebody asks me what something's worth, I'll tell you. If that guy would have said, "Well, how much is the flag worth?" I'd have said it's worth $70, but I can give you 20. And if he would have said no, then I'll move on down the road to the next deal. There's plenty of them out there. There's more sellers than there are buyers. And remember that if you're buying something, the power is in your hands, because there's a lot more people out there looking to sell than there are people looking to buy.
Yep, that's true.
You can't buy it all.
No, I can try though. If you guys would just subscribe to me on YouTube and watch my videos and get me as big as Jeremy or some of these other guys out there floating around the reselling community, I have the idea of a video to where I want to go to an auction and I want to buy everything. I literally want to shut the auction down. I want to buy everything.
I've been to a couple that's been close. Like I say, hang out with Jason enough, you'll get there. I mean, it's pretty close. But
you would have to record it. That's what I want to watch. I want to see the looks on people's faces when they see you coming, and they're like, "There's that damn Jason coming! I can't believe you see it."
Well, like I said, we were famous in some online chat boards after the video game auction because we bought so much of it. We bought probably, I'd say, at least a third to closer to half of the auction. A lot of broken hearts.
They were the only guys to come with totes and a cart at the auction last weekend. And someone said they came prepared. I mean, the totes were stacked so high one time I couldn't get the lid off of one. And here comes Eric with another tote. I went to knock the lid off and I hit some guy in the head that was sitting on the other side in a lawn chair.
If I live close to those two, I would say, "What auctions are you going to?" And I'd go the opposite direction.
Yeah, you have to. If you go strong at the beginning, you will set the tone, and then people see you bidding, and then they stop bidding, and so you get stuff cheaper and cheaper as the auction goes along. Yeah, it's that simple. I mean, that is you just got to be prepared to be able to pay up, for the stuff you're buying. But as long as you're buying smart, you're still making money on it. So you make 50% or 40% on the stuff you buy at the beginning, but at the end you're making 80, 100, 150, 200% profit on the other stuff.
If you stay to the end of an auction, I tell people this. I heard you say this earlier. Show up early and stay late. The staying late part, the last 30 minutes of an auction are when you're going to get your absolute best deals.
Yep.
Today at auction, they sold a $800 piece of furniture for $210, and if I felt like moving it, I would have bought it, but I didn't feel like moving it.
Yeah, like I said, we bought stuff at the end of the auction that will more than pay for everything we bought at the auction. Like I said, we only spent about $800 for the last 4 hours. So I mean, it's just a matter of, we stuck around, we waited people out, we watched them spend their money, and then when the time came to start buying in bulk and buying large lots, that's what we did. And like I said, I bought an entire room for $50. I mean, it had a couple hundred books in it, had radios in it, had parts in it. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I could have taken the furniture out of there if I had room for it, but that's not what we were there to buy. But we bought, I got books out of there. I got Edgar Rice Burroughs first editions. I mean, I got all kinds of really good stuff. So.
Well, we have an auction down here. Maybe he does 3 times a year, and the guys from New York that does it. Actually, it's called New York. His name. But he's based in New York and all that. And he drives all the way down here for some stuff, and I guess he buys stuff at certain places across the country between here and here. But he does it like the old VA hall, the war veterans hall, about 3 times a year. But it's an all day deal from noontime to might be 9 o'clock. And he said, I got to be out of here by midnight, or not, I'm paying for extra day for this building,
Well, like I said, there's one up near Jason that we've been to. It's called Bodner's, and that's an all-day auction. That'll start at 10 o'clock and probably end at 2 or 3 in the morning. I've been to auctions where I started it at noon and didn't get out until 4 o'clock in the morning. I mean, you got to have staying power. You got to have the cash to stay as long. And we came prepared. We had food you had a food cart there. We also had a cooler full of water and pop and just ready to go. I mean, you just got to be ready for it.
Like I said, they do food, but it's not the best. But I guess if you wanted to go get something to eat real quick, you can go get something to eat and come back.
Most of the auction I go to actually have food at auction site.
Sure.
They can bring a food truck or so. Like I said, if I know there's not going to be food there, we knew there was going to be food there. But if not, I'll stop and go to Subway, get food, and come with sandwiches ready to go.
Yeah, that's what like you said. If you're serious, then you bring your ice chest. They'll have drinks and all that, and they even have beer there and all that.
I mean, it's like we were talking about the totes. I mean, we brought 21 totes, and we were ready to go. We had a really nice rolling cart that we could roll the full totes back to the car and load them in, so you're not breaking your back doing that type of stuff. And we were loaded and ready to go as soon as the auction ended. It's just that's the type of stuff that you do to prepare yourself. There's nothing worse than buying a bunch of stuff and then trying to figure out how you're going to get it into your car.
What's good about me, it's only 10 minutes away. So like next time he has one, don't even worry about going at the beginning of the day. Maybe just show up, at like 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And they say, hey, it's going to be 9 o'clock. Come back at 8, and you say, okay, nobody here. And then I can start bidding on the stuff, even though it might be.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it depends. Because like I said, a lot of auctions do box lots at the beginning of the auction.
Right.
So a lot of stuff early, they'll sell before the catalog starts. It's catalog. If they said the auction is going to start at 10, but if you look at the auction description, a lot of times the description say auction starts at 10. We're going to sell classic radios at 11. We're going to sell the house at 12. We're going to sell jewelry at 1. But box lots are first. They're going to clean up a lot of the stuff. They just don't think there's a whole lot of value. Whereas we as eBay sellers know there's a lot of value in some of those smalls. And you can just clean up on box lots because people are waiting for the good stuff. At the end of the night, what happens is people are tired. They've spent their money. They're, sit there for 8 hours. They want to go home. And so suddenly you got tables full of merchandise. Now they're starting to sell choice off the table. Then they'll sell the whole table. And then you clean up.
Bring it back. He said, I don't like a lot of times he said, hey, I'm not bringing this stuff back home. So it's going to go. But I never stayed. I stayed up for just a couple hours sometime, like maybe 2 or 3 o'clock. But,
If I make the commitment to the auction, I go there early and I stay the entire auction. I don't like to leave an auction.
No, and you drove far. I mean, you drove what?
It was 8 hours. It was 8 hours to Binghamton, and then another hour and a half. So I mean, I'm going to get my money's worth too for a drive like that. But if,
like 10 minutes for me, and like this guy, like I said, he comes from New York, all the way down here to Baton Rouge.
How did you find that auction?
Jason and I typically search within 500 miles of us. We're
Wow.
looking at auctions because we're looking for very, very specific things. So, you know, Jason was looking for tools, and that's how he found it. It was had some tools in it that he was interested in. And then he shoots it to me, and then we discuss it. We spend a couple of weeks looking at it, and then figure out is it worth going to? Is it worth making that commitment? And we just do it. We don't do it often. We do it once or twice a year. But when you go and you spend that amount of money, I don't have to go anywhere to the list to buy any more stuff. Not that I won't, but to buy any more stuff, I could go 3 months without buying before I got all this stuff listed. There's that much stuff there.
I need a Jason or an Eric. I need a guy that
No. We have a contract together with them, John.
No. I'm not saying I want one of those two guys. I want my own Jason or Eric, or even a Patdees or a Glynn. I'd love to have an Anthony. I'd love to have just another dude that we could pile in a vehicle and be like, we're going that way, and we're going to be going, and we're going to have to stay overnight, but it's going to be fun. And then YouTube them. Like, I think that you guys, that's the part of the boat that you're missing, is that you are focused on what you're doing there. But I think there's a whole adventure that's involved in this that I know I want to see you two. Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. I think that there could be some good footage shot of that. I think it'd be
the biggest problem is YouTube is not Jason and I's focus. We do it because we enjoy it, we have fun with it, but it's definitely, I mean, we're not monetized. We don't do it as a primary part of our business, and that if we do that, it tends to take away with what we're doing, which puts food on our table and pays the bills and everything. So you kind of have to. It's a tough mix, and we just haven't really decided to go that deep into it. I mean, I haven't made a video in a couple of months just because I've been extremely busy buying and selling. I mean, I've been shipping 15, 20 packages a day lately. So, Scott, John, if you only knew someone who travel, sourced, and filmed, But I mean,
Scott does it by himself, but I would go with Scott. If me and Scott were there would be bad stuff that would happen. I'd have to be like, there's a Catholic church, I gotta go. There would be
Eric and Jason allow me to film. They never complain. I have a lot of fun with them. It was neat last week at the auction to have someone come up to you and say, "Hey, I know you," and I'm like, "Uh-oh, I thought maybe I was doing something wrong." And they said they recognized me, Jason, and Eric. And the lady says. And then I started talking to Eric about it, and she goes, "Oh yeah, we know what show she goes on." So I mean, Eric and Jason have been around a lot longer than I have as far as YouTube in the reselling community. So hey, real quick, I want to thank Dwayne Mothership Products for the $5 super chat. I sent him super stickers, and he can't keep. He's got to like Indian give and give it right back to me. Come on there. Hang on to it for an auction in the future. Hey, Pusa Studios, thank you. Okay, got to head out. It's midnight. Pat, thanks for having me, and have a great. Yeah, they're from overseas, so I found them the other day and was talking to them. So I appreciate coming back out to support us here. So thank you.
Sure. Yeah, I think that would be awesome, though, that aspect of being able to travel and source. One thing I'm doing early next month is I'm actually going out to Rhode Island to stay with Derek, NASCAR man, 3345, for a week, and we're going to do just that. We're going to hit Rhode Island pretty hard. They're doing a big thing in Brimfield. I don't know if you guys ever heard about it, but they basically turned the entire town into like a giant flea market / yard sale type thing.
Yeah, Brimfield's real well known on the East Coast, so we'll have no trouble there. And you get good stuff, and prices are a little high, but the quality is there. So you may pay a little bit more, but you're going to see quality items you don't see anywhere else.
Yeah, so we're going to hit that up, and then we're going to hit all the 5 states around Derek pretty much that whole week. Get to meet up with a bunch of different people from YouTube, like Ryan and Pam over at Thrift Mine, and just whoever else is over in those 5 New England states.
Actually, the only advice I give is plan it out, several weeks in advance, so you know what auctions are going, when they're going, where you're going to end up at, so that way you can kind of plan those things out. I mean, like I said, give a great example is that video game auction that Jason and I went to last year. there was probably 2.5 months of planning on that one. So, I mean, it wasn't like, we saw the listing and went the next day. It was literally 2.5 months of looking things up, pricing things out, and having a really, really good handle on what things were worth, so that when you walk in, you could spend $20,000 and still come out way ahead, which is what we did.
For sure.
And then you got to get on it once you get it back. I mean, and you got to have the cash to do it and things like that. That's not a big deal. I mean, you don't have to spend that much. That was a very rare occasion, but an example is, like I said, Jason and I'll do an auction in January. We go every year, and he always spends quite a bit of money. I don't spend as much because it's more tools and stuff, but Jason will spend a lot of money. But he knows that the money he spends there in January will carry him through all the way through usually April before he has to buy again. He's going to buy that much at that particular time. He won't have to buy again until April.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm always, man, being where you guys live at, you, Pat, Jason, even like Glynn, he lives in a pretty, Anthony, all of you guys live in a more metropolitan area. And I can tell you that I live in a rural farming community, and I am always hustling, trying to find something to sell. I do not have death piles like most of the time. It's just a constant struggle. It's a constant fight to keep finding stuff.
That's where you're going to have to. It's what I try to tell people. It says, if you're having trouble finding things, then you need to expand your area of looking. And then when you find a good thing, go and buy hard at it, bring it all back, get it up and sold. So you may not have to source for months. I mean, Dusty's a great example. We talk about Dusty all the time. He's a great example of that. He'll go out and he'll spend $2 or $3 grand at one trip, but he won't have to buy anything for 3 months. It seems like a lot. It really does. It seems like, oh my God, I can't spend $3,000 at an auction.
Well, that's
if you're not out there nickel and diming it every day, you can actually save that money up, go out and spend it, and that'll put $10,000 or $15,000 in your pocket. And it gives you time. Now you can sit back and actually work from home and really just power out the listings and get the stuff sold.
You're not worried about you're not out hustling all the time.
Exactly. How much time do you spend out there looking around, driving from store to store to store, or going from garage sale to garage sale? I haven't been to a garage sale in years. I didn't even go to my neighbor's garage sale. That's because
I think you're really onto something. I think it's not like I had an epiphany, but you're right. Like for me, it's like, hey fam, let's get up in the car and let's ride to Farmington, or let's go. Every once in a while, I'll be like, we're going to drive 2 hours to the bins, and we're going to sort through the garbage there and try to eke out a living. And in reality, if you would just drive the
$2,000 and went to a big auction that you knew you could buy well at, you scattered it out. You have a really good idea. There's a lot of stuff there, and you go out there and you spend your $1,000. You walk back and you pull back, and you've got an entire van and another car full of stuff. Like, well, crap! I've got enough stuff here to list for the next 3 months.
And Duck just says that too. Buy in bulk. Buy enough to get you through a couple of months. And I tell you, that's been a common. Even though some people are doing YouTube to do YouTube, that's been a common advice. Maybe not in those words, but the storage lockers. Eric and Jason have told me the same thing. Is I was wasting sometimes time. I still can make it part of the trip if I'm driving by, but sometimes I was setting myself up for disappointment going to the Salvation Army to find 3 things and probably spending more in gas sometimes than I would make on something. So it still can be part of the trip, but like these guys have said, buy in bulk.
Well, your time is valuable. Don't ever forget your time. Your time is the one thing that you spend on yourself. I mean, nobody else controls where you spend your time. So your time is valuable. So why spend time running in and out of different stores that you've been to 100 times that you might get lucky if you pull a piece or two out of that are decent, worth buying, or go to some place where you looked online and you see, wow, look at all that stuff there. Yes, I'm going to be competing with other resellers. Yes, I'm not going to get everything I want. But if I spend enough quality time there, I'm going to walk out of there with and spend $200, $300, $400. I'm going to be set for the next month of listing. That's what I don't really understand. I mean, you have to do what it is, but your time is the one thing you can really control. Would you rather be out there shopping every day? Some people like to shop. Some people, that's part of the thrill of the game. I get that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I would rather be sitting here at home listing 20, 30, 40 items a day, doing that for 2 or 3 weeks than running out every day to go buy.
Mhm.
You know, I'd rather invest a little bit more money in my product, but I have so much stuff. I've got thousands of things to list. I don't have to buy. I wouldn't have to buy for 2 years if I really didn't want to.
Yeah,
Just
I'm with both and when it comes to that. I love the thrill of the hunt. That's why like Saturday is basically yard sale day for me. A lot of times I will like make that my day for sourcing during yard sale season. But I do see the value in scheduling time out that is just for just for listing, because unless we're listing, we're not making any money. You can go source as much as you want, but unless it's finding its way onto eBay, it's not going to sell.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of stuff I need to list it all. I'm far be it for me to be the one to say you got to list every day. I try to list every day. I don't need to list 100 items a day, but I try to list 15, 20 items a day.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. It just depends on what's going on. But that I still, when I go out to anywhere that I go to buy, I buy a lot because I want to make sure that I don't have to go out and buy again if I need to. And like I said, I made the commitment to myself. I got a pickup from an auction tomorrow that I bought just because I did so well with the archery stuff. They did another sale on that, so I bought a bunch more tonight. But I'm not really hunting anything right now for really the next 2 or 3 months at least, because I need to get through some of this stuff. Like I said, I got 2,000 campaign buttons I got to look through and research. I've got 4 totes of ephemera. I got 4 totes of radio equipment that's 1920s, 1930s. It's worth thousands of dollars. I need to get all that stuff up, not to mention all the other stuff that I already own. And I got to keep building my auction. So,
some of those buttons do good money because some of them might do a couple $100, and a lot of them you probably didn't think be a dollar.
Like I said,
and wad them all together, you know.
I think it's this one right here. Let me see if that's the wrong one. I got to grab the wrong one. Like I said, I did some research on some of these. These are all Teddy Roosevelt and McKinley and everything. This button right here. See if I can get it to focus. In perfect condition, sold for $1,600 2 separate times on WorthPoint.
It's awesome.
And this has got a little damage at the bottom, and then the paper label on the back is not perfect, but it is there, so that actually helps date the button. So in that condition, I'm hoping to get $400 to $500. I don't know what I'll get. I don't care. I mean, it brings whatever it brings. I'll start the auction off and we'll let it run. If I get $50, I'll be happy with it. Because I bought so much political stuff, and I literally have like $600 invested in the political buttons. So if I sell that button for $600, then I'm even on the political stuff. And I got stuff. I mean, this is like I said. I thought this is one of the cooler pieces. It's not worth as much. This is a delegate pin from the 1912 presidential election from the Bull Moose Party. This is Teddy Roosevelt's party. He started the Progressive Party. So you hear about progressives, and the Progressive Party started out from Teddy Roosevelt, and it was actually a more conservative party. He left the Republican Party, went to the conservative side with the Progressive Party. But I got a lot of Bull Moose stuff and things like that. So that should bring you, I don't know, $60, $70, $80. That's 1 or 2 things. I bought, like I said, there's hundreds of things in there. And that's 1 tote, and there's 2 more big totes full of political ephemera, like bumper stickers and paperwork and things like that, all the way from the 80s all the way up to 2000s.
Were all like pins always metal, or was some of them wood or something like a clip on the back?
The ones that I have are all metal. They're or celluloid. You get a lot of that, which is it's a paper product, but it's like early plasticky. Most of the ones I have are all metal because that's the era they're from.
Right.
The oldest pen I found so far has been about 1885. Most of the ones that I'm working with right now are all in the 1900 to 1920 range. They're all mostly they were a Teddy Roosevelt collector, so they had a lot of stuff like that. But that stuff was found in a box. They were auctioning off. They started auctioning off the box, and they didn't realize what was in it. They pulled it out. They pulled out 2 totes or 2 displayers of that, and I actually paid the most. That's the most I paid for anything in that auction. I paid $500 for all the Teddy Roosevelt stuff. But I knew there was like 60 or 70 pins in there of Teddy Roosevelt and McKinley and different characters around the 1900 to 1912 era. And I'm guessing those are all worth at least $40 to $50 a piece. So that's, 70 times 40 is $2,800. To me, that's a no-brainer.
How did that? I didn't get to stay for it, but how did that blue glass go? Do you remember?
The cobalt glass went really well. The glass pieces didn't sell very good. I mean, they sold them in large lots for next to nothing. The hands sold them best. They were selling for like $20 a piece. They were the glove forms, and then the cobalt paperweights all sold for about $10 a piece. Really cool stuff, but I don't do glass. I don't like to sell it. I don't like to. I know about it. I just don't like to deal with it because it's a pain in the butt.
It was very pretty. I haven't done that video yet. Because I'm waiting for some footage to come back from I sent the viewer the watch, and I asked him if he could maybe do, and then I would tie it in the end of my video, just to kind of complete the story. And I took some good footage. There was a lot of stuff there. There was a lot, and like I said, your video footage actually showed some of the better stuff when you were using your GoPro type camera to take that footage. You saw some of the better items, but it was a really good auction, really cool. I liked what it was there. It was worth the drive. You know, I mean, if you think about it, I rented a car. I had a couple nights in a hotel. I had gas. I had food. I had $400 or $500 invested before I bought a thing. You know, that's one of the things you have to think about. If you're going to make a trip and do sourcing trips, you're going to invest money before you buy anything.
Yep.
So you've got to think about that type of stuff. If you're running on a budget, you can't make those trips. If you're tight on your budget, you don't need to do that. You know, build your budget up, build a travel budget up, you know, do that whole thing. I mean, I had the funds available to do that. You know, I spent a couple $1,000. I had to have the funds available to do that. You know, you don't have to spend that much. I mean, it was just that type of auction, but I've been to many auctions where I've dropped $400 or $500 and I spent it in an overnight stay, and, you know, don't always have to rent a car. I knew I was going to buy a lot. So I rented a van. Right. But you know, if you can do an overnight stay and go to a good auction and walk home and your car is packed full and you drop $400 or $500 and you don't have to shop for the next 2 or 3 months, puts $3 or $4 or $5 grand in your pocket. Yeah, I mean, I came to be honest with a $500 budget, and I only spent $220, and a lot of stuff I just didn't buy because I don't have enough knowledge about it. A part of the joy for me was going to hang out with Eric and Jason and learn. And then be able to do some YouTube footage. And it was only 3 hours away for me, so I didn't mind it. I bought enough safe things. I mean, one letter I bought, to be honest, it was only $1, and I kept it myself because I actually owned the website Letters to the White House, because when I was a kid, I wrote to Ronald Reagan because me and him share the same birthday, the 6th of February. And I had wrote, and back then there was no internet, so I wrote to him, and I got a letter back from him. So I had over the course of about 25 years had written the White House and gotten things back. And I bought a letter that was addressed to this couple. And I only paid $1 for it, and it's just something I want to do one day. I own the website and stuff. So, hello, Uncle Patrick. I guess my niece or my Adrina's world. It sounds like my niece is in here. So, hello. Thanks for stopping. I guess when your niece is watching you, that's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I wanted the Teddy Roosevelt letter. They had a letter sent from Teddy Roosevelt, had a signature on it, but that went for $140, $150, something like that, and the value was in the $300 to $400 range. I thought that would have been cool to have that one. Yeah, I mean, I got that from Gerald Ford picture. So I have a lot of I collect White House stuff, so I have a bunch of different things over the years that I actually came across probably about 25 years ago. There was a lady in our area that she used to help do schools in Africa, and she used to get a lot of donated things and would have a yard sale, and she would raise money for the schools. So I got I guess about 50 years ago, someone had requested something to donate for a charity back 50 years ago. And they sent an etching of the White House along with a letter from like the First Lady. And I got that, and I've been holding that myself for about 25 years. So I historically have always enjoyed collecting stuff that's related to, the White House. And I actually had the pleasure last year to go to the White House in March. It took me and my wife and my 2 sons, and we did a day trip to the White House.
Well, outside, or you actually got inside?
What? Say that again, Glenn.
You got inside, or was this outside?
No, inside. I went through somebody that knew Secret Service, and the only problem was they gave me short notice, and they said if you're going to go, you have to go this day. And it was like 2 days notice. And at the time I had the restaurant, I didn't care if I was going to close it down because I wasn't going to pass up. I don't care who's in the White House. That was just an experience to be able to say that for me, it was very a bucket list type item. So I enjoyed myself.
I heard of it. It takes about a year to get in there, sometimes 6 months to a year to get approved.
Yeah, the wait list can be long unless you know somebody. If you know somebody in Congress,
right.
What'll happen is the Secret Service will have you get special passes, and you as long as you pass the background check, you're fine. There's still steps to when you get in there what you have to do, but
protocol and all that.
Yeah, I enjoyed it and had a great time.
Yeah, I was there in 2008 in DC, whatever, that. But it was bad. My camera, every photo I took was blurry, except maybe one. I took about 50 photos. Lincoln Memorial to the Air Force, the Korean War, every war memorial there was. We took a tour of. Finish got the pictures out. Damn, almost blurry. You don't have to go back and take new pictures.
Hey, Kimmy wants to ask a question, which is a great question actually. Great question for the whole panel. Name one thing on your bucket list.
Wow.
Something you really would love to do.
I'd like to travel the world. I want to go to pretty much every continent. I'd like to see every single state in the U.S. I really would just like to see more of the world, to be honest with you.
As anybody else?
I guess travel, I guess if I won the lottery, I'd sell my business in a heartbeat and just live on a motorhome with a driver and all that, and sell stuff on eBay and Amazon, and all that, and go to the UK for a whole month and call the Hills, BP Picker, and all those guys. And say, I'm coming over.
Tierra del Fuego.
What'd you say, Eric?
Tierra del Fuego. I want to go down to the tip of Chile and hit the very bottom of South America.
Oh, okay. Now, John, I know you don't like to travel, but do you have a bucket list item Kimmy asked that you would think you would like to do? Anything. It don't have to even be traveling. Maybe you want to jump out of maybe you want to go a hot air balloon.
I wanted to own a building and open an antique store. There's two things that I've always wanted to do. Wanted to work for myself so I could spend time with my wife and family, because time is a commodity. It's finite. You only get so much of it. And I don't want to live my whole life and regret. I want to work for myself. I might not have the nicest things in the world, but I am a happy camper. And two, I want to travel to Israel. I want to go to Jerusalem. I want to walk the Via Dolorosa. I want to see the Temple Mount. I would love, if I could do, I like to spend 2 whole months in Israel and just soak it all in. For me, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I want to go, and I talk about it. I want to take a train ride across Canada. They have like a 5, a 10, or a 21 day, and I would just love to get on the train. Obviously, the 5 day you're not getting off, so I love trains, and I've taken a couple of train rides. I took in New York, Pennsylvania already. Only like 1 hour train trips, but I would love to take that Canadian train across one day.
I would like to do that. That would be cool too. I'd like to do, I don't know. I don't mind traveling. Like if you gave me an RV and my home was wherever I stopped, I would be perfectly fine with that.
Traveling is fun as long as you don't have really a strict itinerary where you just go as you want to. I think it would be fun. Like I've been on a train when I went to Germany for a bike race, or not a bike race, a bike meeting, 13, whatever. It was about a 2 hour, I guess, from the airport to train to the town we're at, about a 2 hour train ride, 2.5 hour train ride. It was nice.
I've driven all over Germany. That was cool. stopping and looking at the buildings, seeing how the buildings are still tore up from World War II and stuff like that. That was always neat, but it was kind of like they had no itinerary, just kind of got in the car and just drove.
Yeah. We were like in Austria and Salzburg, that area.
I was down there, Stuttgart and Point South. So
Steve Alcorn says that one of his bucket list is to go. He's going to Nashville, and he made it. He's going to Vegas, and he'd like to do the Grand Canyon, Times Square. Yes, I love Times Square. I've been to. When I first, one of the first things I did when I went live. Well, the first thing I did, I went live from a Popeyes restaurant just to test it out. But when I went someplace, I actually went to Manhattan and never went on the bus trip, and then I did a 2-hour live. We drove around Manhattan, and then that day we actually went to wrestling. So we went out of our way for about an hour. But I love New York City. I love. Some people say, how can you all the people? I just love it because I'll be honest, it is a small town. So there's only like 800 people in my town, and probably within 10 miles, there's about 5,000 people. So, doing this reselling and stuff, and not having the restaurant no more, you don't get to see many people. So going to Nashville, I'm excited. It's too bad it's only 2 days, because I tell you, the 2 days are going to go fast.
Yeah, Nashville will go fast.
Yeah.
I used to work in Nashville, so.
What did you do when you worked down in Nashville?
I lived in Little Rock, and I worked for a company called Hastings Entertainment, and I was a district manager for loss prevention for them, and Nashville was one of my markets. So I had 4 stores in the Nashville area, which is Clarksville, Nashville, go down south a little bit to, I can't remember the names of the towns, where Jack Daniels is at, and there's another town down there. So I would go out there about once every 2 weeks, and I'd spend a week in Nashville. So I had 21 stores in 7 states. So I was kind of all over the eastern side.
Now, did you ever fly, or was it mostly drive?
I flew the first couple of times, and I realized to fly from Little Rock, Arkansas to Nashville was 6 hours, because you actually flew to Dallas Love and then flew back over top of Little Rock to go to Nashville. And I could drive to Nashville from Little Rock in 6 hours. So I'm like, I'm just going to drive and not worry about it. So,
yeah.
Looking at flying into, like I said, Nashville, but the fly was just a carry-on, but not even a carry-on, like a backpack, but they charge us extra $70 if you use the overhead bin. I said, hey, I'm defeating my purpose then, and all that. But it would have been like $200, $218 just a round trip without no clothes or nothing, So.
Well, Pat, I'm going to have to jump off here, man. I appreciate you guys having me on.
I'm not going to be too far behind you. I got to get up early.
Yeah.
Anthony, thanks again for coming on. I appreciate it. We'll be in touch.
Awesome, man.
Okay. See you, man.
Take it easy, everyone.
Okay, man.
That was Anthony. If anyone hasn't subscribed to his channel, Picksburgh, please do. He's a great guy. He lives on the west side of Pennsylvania here, and he comes in and helps. He does a lot of stuff, and he comes and helps support the channel and stuff. So I really appreciate that. Looks like you got some company there, Eric.
That's my puppy dog.
Yeah.
He's my small dog.
Where do you store your stuff at, Eric? Like, where do you have a garage or something?
I have a garage. Typically, what's in the garage is stuff that's going into my online auctions, my local ones. What I have down here is I have this is about 15 by 25. It's pretty much got everything in it, and then I have a small bedroom that I put my listed items in. So,
but you have everything located in certain rooms, so you don't have it in your living room or.
Yeah, I live upstairs. Upstairs is living room. The only thing that's down in this lower level is my office and the eBay stuff. I have another room that has the eBay stuff in it. My daughter's bedroom's down here, and then there's a half bath down here. Everything else is upstairs. So my bedroom's upstairs, my son's bedroom, the kitchen, the living room, and all that's upstairs. I don't let eBay go up there.
Right. That's what my problem. I got a little bit of stuff in there. I got it. I just chunked everything in here, so I'm not looking at it when I walk into the living room or I got in the kitchen. Or
yeah, I don't see eBay unless I go downstairs into my area.
Welcome to the living room, or got the kitchen. Or... Scott, you're doing a rookie mistake if that's your feedback.
That's because I pulled him out of the green room too early. What's up, Scott?
Yeah, I clicked the link and I was shutting it down. What's up, guys?
Going on?
Yeah, I've been editing a video for the first time all season. I recorded the yard sales,
You've been a little bit too busy to record yard sales.
but you can't record them with a phone. It's a little difficult. So for those of you who the argument was, can you do YouTube with a phone? Absolutely, I do a lot of it with a phone, but
That's all I got.
the type of video can determine if you want to do stuff where you're doing a lot of motion and yard sales and need your hands free. A phone is tough.
Well, and you don't need necessarily a GoPro branded phone camera. I mean, I've got what they call the Akazo.
Yeah, they make some good ones for under $100.
I paid $50 for my Akazo, and I've done a few videos at yard sale and flea markets, and I just put it on my hat. It clicks onto your hat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Put it on my hat and just point it straight down, and nobody cares. So I just don't typically film because I'm too busy buying, so I don't pay that much attention to it.
Yeah, that's my problem with filming yard sales is the idea that a lot of people don't realize this, but if you film somebody and if you even mention somebody in one of your videos, that person can put a claim against your video. That happened to me because I was doing news story, and the gentleman that sued, that was hacking Sony PS4s and selling them with a bunch of games on them. He came at my YouTube channel and put a claim against that video, and it only had 220 views on it. And on camera, YouTube Live.
I did it in a garage sale. I did something on the outside of the unit and on the inside of the unit, you know.
Yeah. And he came against my YouTube channel, and they essentially made me take the video down, which was like, I only had 240 views on it, so it wasn't no big deal. But you know that it was him because the only people that can put a claim against your channel is the person that is in the video or the person that was mentioned. So
now you probably could have blurred out his face, but I've been running into this that
if you're in a public space, there's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah, there's nothing. Public domain, there's nothing they can do. You're not.
Yeah. As long as they're out in the public, you're fine. And now, if you're on their property, it's a little grayer area, but because it's a garage sale and they're inviting the public in, again, there's nothing they can do about it. If you walk into a store, that's a different animal. If you walk into if you're at the storage unit auction or something like that, you get a little grayer area there. But for the most part, if you're out in public, it's free game.
Well, my last garage sale I did, guys saw it, and I said, you're on YouTube, whatever. Well, I don't want to be on YouTube, so he stepped out of the way, but he kept talking.
Yeah, I was just going to throw my 2 cents in. A lot of it, is what kind of video you need to make, because the nice thing about a GoPro is all the mounts. You can mount it to pretty much anything, and a lot of the cameras, like the one Eric has, will use GoPro mounts. So
yeah.
And so
I have the 8-man. The only difference is I think against the GoPro, there's a feature on there where it doesn't shake as much. Because I've had like 2 complaints where people said they got seasick, but I didn't realize there was a button in there the stabilizer.
Yeah, the latest version of GoPro is the best one. It has a lot of the anti-shimmy and shake stuff built into the software itself. But
Right.
that's a $400 camera. I'd rather spend $50 while I'm getting used to GoPro and playing with it and things like that. And $50 is not that big of an investment. You can use the camera for other things, for personal things as well. If it doesn't work out, you don't like doing YouTube videos. So,
Right.
yeah, I would definitely tell you until you figure out how much you're going to do and how much you're going to do a channel, you definitely use your phone because their cameras on these new phones are so good. Like y'all said, I hate for somebody to do 4 or 5 videos and go and never use it again because a lot of those action cameras never get used. I know people will buy one and they go, well, hell, I've never used it.
Yeah, and the battery life sucks.
I wish somebody would sell me one. I'm waiting for the new GoPro Hero 8 to come out, and that thing's supposed to be pretty revolutionary.
Well, I used to sponsor somebody. I was sponsored by GoPro. He wrote for KTM. And one of the main sponsors, it was plastered all over the bike, but he got hurt real bad and all that and gave it up. So I was hoping he would stick with it and say, hey, I'm giving you a GoPro one day out of him.
Hey, Eric, Melissa is asking, what is the name of the camera you have?
Here, I'll type it. It's a Kazo. You go on Amazon and it's like $49.99.
Yeah, I think the number one selling one on Amazon is it a YI? I believe that's the brand.
They're all the same. It's all the same camera. They're just different brands. They just put a different label on it. The Akazo's got like 8,000 positive reviews, so it works perfect. The battery life sucks. I ordered like 3 extra batteries for it, and then I found out that my power bank will actually run the Akazo at the same time it's on. So you can actually use like a power bank with it and get like 8 hours of video cameraing out of it if you don't mind having a cable going to it. Like if you have it on a chest mount or you have it on a foot mount, you can actually just click a power bank battery to it and it'll actually do really well. So
Harlan's asking, has anyone heard when does the GoPro 8 come out?
September.
It was already out.
Yeah.
Is it September, John?
From what I've read, there's not a whole lot out about it now. I've been hoping they would release some more information, but from what I've read, it's going to be a new design. It's going to maybe have a front-facing, like this is a GoPro, like it'll have a front-facing screen right here, along with the back-facing screen, and there'll be a screen right here, so when you're pointing it at yourself, you can make sure that you're in frame, and it's going to be a new design. And it's supposed to have maybe Bluetooth in it, which would be really cool for like audio interfaces and stuff like that. That's the rumors.
Yeah, they're going to have to do something because DJI came out with a very nice action camera that uses all the GoPro mounts and it has that screen already. It actually, most people who review it better than the GoPro.
So there's a couple of them. It's like almost like a roll of nickels almost. You know, mounts and helmets like all the action guys were using. Because the same guy that was sponsored by GoPro, they flew one in from Europe or something like that for them to use one in the motos at the race, one of the races, you know, before he got sponsored by GoPro. And they were saying, yeah, this is better than GoPro actually.
Yeah, Tommy Bernard said they better step it up. Osmo's on his tail. Yeah, the DJI Osmo, they've got an action camera now that
well, DJI makes all the drones, the really high quality drones, and they have high quality cameras with them, and so it's not surprising that they're going into the action camera business because they already have action cameras mounted on their drones.
Yeah, they also make really good gimbals too.
Yep.
Well, we said all the motocrossers use them that way. As soon as they get off the practice, so the first moto, they review the tapes and see what they're doing wrong or right. You know, and some of them got reversal cameras that way they can see what's behind them.
So Scott, you recorded today the yard sale on your cell phone, you said?
No, I had the chest mount. I just
okay, yeah, okay, the one that you wore when you came up when I saw you. Okay, yeah, I know. I mean, I know people that do it on their cell phone, and they even edit on their cell phone. I'm like, I don't know how they do it. I would be worried just tying it all together. I know doing what I do on the computer takes a lot of effort and time, let alone doing it on the cell phone.
Yeah, I know people that edit on the cell phone. I don't know how they do it. It's
Good night, Kimmy.
Good night, Jimmy.
Yeah. I used to edit videos on my cell phone because I would shoot on a Samsung Samsung Galaxy S5 or whatever, and it was just what I had. And now I'm just so far advanced, you know, so much more advanced now with like having a ton of cameras. If I didn't go to yard sales and stuff, because I go to auctions and this is what I'm carrying around at auctions. And I tell people, if somebody says, what do you do? And I go, I'm filming. They go, don't film me. I go, that's good because I don't want to film you. I mean, that's just don't walk in front of my camera. I've told a few people, if you don't want to be filmed, don't walk in front of the camera. But that's part of my business. And I'm good friends with the people that run the auction company, so they got my back. But the fact is that, you know, I would like to have like one of those cameras that you, like Scott or like Shane has, one of those nice mirrorless cameras with with like a nice Rode mic or something on there, because the quality of those, like a Casey Neistat type setup or something like that, because the quality is just so much better versus a GoPro. GoPros are good if you're just filming like your garage sales or something like that, but I don't know. I don't do much of that.
Yeah, that's the one thing you have to notice is that they have that the edges are look like they're because they're the fisheye effect on the edges.
So Scott, you talked about a little bit last night for the people that are watching tonight. You and Phil are hosting Nashville.
Yeah, it's next weekend. Eric, I will work on it. We'll pick a better date next year so that for school starting.
Yeah, just like a week or two earlier would be great. I mean,
yes, it's basically just basically we're gonna stay at the same hotel, eat, probably meet for dinner every night, but it's gonna be, there's so much to do in Nashville with reselling. You can do anything you want. People are like Harlan and I are going to the flea market Friday morning. I know a lot of people. We're going to yard sale Saturday. I know a lot of people want to do that. There's a couple of guys that are coming in from Ohio that are going to go to a salvage yard and pull parts, and they've invited anybody who wants to go to see their business model because that's their business. Their business model is to take car parts and sell them. They've got thousands and thousands of listings on eBay.
Is that Chris Brown coming down for that?
Yeah, out of Toledo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met him. I missed him last. Joni had just found out she had breast cancer at the last one, so I missed him. I had to meet him in Vegas. He's a neat guy.
Yeah, he's in one of my local reseller groups that we're in for an Ohio group. And yeah, he is definitely up on our parts, and that's what he does. And he talks about it all the time. He tries to tell everybody, go to your salvage yards, you'll make tons and tons of money. It's not hard to do, and it's amazing the amount of people that won't take his advice. Because I mean, if you've got salvage yards around you, the amount of money you get for some parts is just insane. And we're not, I mean, and we talk about Dusty all the time. Dusty, that's how he started his whole business with salvage yard parts until he moved into more antiques and collectibles. He was all
and it was specifically stereos, right?
Stereos and airbags. Back in the day, you could do airbags. You can't really do it now, but nobody was online back then. When he was doing it, nobody was selling online car parts. Now everything's online, but you go in and you'd spend $5 or $10 grand at a salvage yard. You'd buy all the radios, all the parts, all the small stuff, the trim pieces, things like that, and you just make mega bucks doing that type of stuff. And he was partners with somebody else, and they made a career out of it.
Yeah, it's not hard. Just think about what breaks in your car: the armrest, the window cranks. If they do have one, if not now, the buttons you can pull off because they're electric switches. Mirrors.
Mirrors are a big thing. Everybody breaks mirrors. Like I said, car spares are always good. It's just, but I mean, he'll buy big stuff, buy bumpers, things like that, and if he can get a good price for it and turn around and flip it, because he's not afraid to ship that stuff. That's one of the things you got to understand is if your business model is going to go out and buy big things, you got to be able to ship it. Your customer needs shipping. You got to be able to handle that.
Because we got a pull part now, about 5 minutes from my work, so it's a nice place and a nice brick building out front. Can't really even see the yard until you go through the building and all that. It's all fenced in real nice and a nice area of town.
Yep. Oh, the computers. I mean, Tommy Bernhard mentions it. The ECUs. I mean, and ECUs go all the way back into the '60s. So I mean, there are ECUs on cars forever. So I mean, it's not hard to find that stuff. I mean, you just got to know what you're doing. And a lot of these parts have the part numbers written right on them or cast into the metal pieces, so you don't even have to look them up. And just go on eBay and look for car parts. You need something for your car? Go on eBay and look for there before you look anywhere else. You'd be surprised at the prices.
And you'd also be surprised at the YouTube opportunity you can have with that too, because it's truly showing people how to take the parts off, because people will watch those videos over and over. It wouldn't be like a one-time thing. You could really do well both ways. Here's how to remove the console from a Honda Accord.
Yep.
And you'd be amazed. And one car you could do, hey, here's how to remove the radio. Here's how to remove this. I mean, you could make 10 or 12 videos in one car while you pull it off and really get some residual, because those videos you watch over and over.
Yeah, and those people aren't just resellers. Those are people looking to fix their car, to take their car apart, to replace the part. You know, like the guy that you sold that part to is going to go find your video. How did that come out? I got to put it back in. I mean, there's lots of money in that thing. I mean, if you need to work on your car, you need to change the brakes on your car, go to YouTube, how to change the brakes, put your model car in. I guarantee there's at least 5 videos out there on how to change the brakes on your car, whatever model it is. It doesn't matter.
Just be careful, knowing that some states to take apart cars, you might have to have a dismantler's license. Now, at a pick and pull, you can go there and take stuff apart, but one of the videos that I want to put out in the future is actually buying a car for parts and then going through it and making a video on how I sell the parts, how much I paid for the car, part as much off of the parts off of the car as I can part, and then scrap the rest of it, and then see how much I made and do like a video for the. I've got feelers out now looking for a car. I can tell you some of the better cars to get are the more popular cars, but I can tell you, you want to know something that you can make a killing off of? This is the Bolo floor mats, OEM floor mats for newer cars. If I sold a set the other day for $50, I paid $3 for them. People, especially if it's trucks, what they'll do is they'll replace their OEM floor liners with the rubber ones, and don't pass them up. Never pass them up at yard sales. They're easy to ship. They don't get damaged, and they sell for a ton of money. They're great.
Yeah,
I love it.
We actually, Harlan and I talked to a guy today. It was real interesting. I've seen the house before because he has a Canon sitting in his front yard. It's a fiberglass replica Canon, and he made the same comment. You know, if he needs to know how to do something, he's become a YouTube junkie. And most of us guys are like that. What's the first thing we do? Throw the instructions away. Show me a video on how to do something. You'd be amazed if a YouTube channel of showing people how to do stuff. They're look at the views on them. It's crazy.
Well, Scott, when y'all can get up there, like Thursday night or whatever? Or?
Yeah, we're leaving here sometime Thursday afternoon, and I get up there Thursday evening, probably 6:30, 7, somewhere in there.
Okay. I'm gonna leave Thursday morning early.
I was gonna drive Joni's car, but since Shane bought the same color Sienna I have, I guess I'll drive it up there and so we can be twins.
Did you get Joni a new vehicle?
Yeah, a 2015 Acura TLX.
Oh, nice.
The blue van, it's stuck in second gear right now.
You got your money's worth out of that van.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. That'd be a good one to part out, because a minivan would probably be really good, because just think about kids and then what they do to destroy it.
That's a Volkswagen, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's a Dodge. Except for those seats, it's a Dodge.
What year is it? A Dodge Sienna, or what is it?
It's a Rutan. It's an 09 Rutan.
What's a Rutan? I don't even know how the hell you spell that.
It's a Volkswagen Rutan. It's ROUTAN or something like that.
Yeah, that's it.
Putting a transmission would probably cost you a couple grand, so it's really not worth fixing either.
Yeah, Harlan, I need to disassemble that van because I don't have enough crap laying around here.
The treasure hustler.
Yeah, that's one thing different. Harlan and I did different today. We passed on a lot of stuff because both of us have so much junk, but we love going to yard sales for the hunt. And so I think we only ended up buying like 4 or 5 things each, which is like a quarter of what we normally buy.
That'd be impossible for me. I can't go and not buy. I'm a freaking hoarder.
You're a good reseller. When you go to a garage sale and don't buy nothing, walk away.
It's hard. It's a lesson that you really got to learn. If not, you'll have death piles from hell.
Yeah, that's why I got started out. So now I'm more picky. I have to be,
I think everybody who starts out in this type of business, they start out buying everything they can get their hands on, thinking there's profit and everything, and then they realize that while there's profit there, it's not worth the time or not worth the effort. And so you end up with these piles of stuff either you don't want to list or you just hate listing. I used to be that way with clothing. I listed it in the beginning, but after a while I was buying it and I wasn't listing it because I hate listing it.
Yeah, I think there's more to that, Eric. I think there's more to if you don't have any interest in it, it's very hard to make yourself listed.
Yeah, totally not interested in stuff like that. So I buy things that I find interesting. You know,
the more interesting stuff I find, the more I am interested in it, the more I learn about it. So I end up making more money on items because of the specific knowledge of an item.
Yeah, to be good, I mean, I think personally to be a good reseller, you have to have a general knowledge of everything, but then you specialize in a few things so that those are your niche items, the things that you know all about. You know the profit in them. You know exactly how to buy right, but you have a general knowledge. You go out and pick up other things that help keep the money flowing as well. You can't specialize in everything. It's too hard.
But I try.
Oh, I try too. I mean, I love ephemera. To me, ephemera is fascinating and amazing and cheap. It sells really well, but you got to have a lot of it up. This political stuff, I love political stuff. It's always been fascinating to me, and the history behind it. And radio parts, I'm not that interested in that, but because of the era of the radio stuff, called 1920, more interesting to me. I don't like newer stuff, but I like the old stuff.
There's still some good parts in that van, Scott. I'm looking up your van. The driver's side switch sells for about $50. The flip down visor sells for about $75 for a pair. Yeah, there's some pretty. The radio sells pretty good in the overhead compartments. Does it have the drop down CD player?
It's got the upgraded one. It's got the one that's got a 20 gig hard drive in it.
Oh wow, yeah, that would be a good band to part out. I bet you there's some really good parts. The headrests. Is it got leather or cloth interior?
It's got leather.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good van to part out. That would definitely be a good one. That's just interior. That's nothing. Whatever I do, and I always tell people if they're looking to go to their pick and pull, especially if they have one that's not frequented a lot, what I would suggest that they do is that they would go spend a couple hours walking through the pick and pull, take a pad and paper, and write down the makes and the models of each car. You can do that by looking at either the VIN number, writing the VIN number down and going back and doing your research, or looking at the door jamb, and it'll tell you there, write down the make, model, if it's complete or not, and then go back and just start doing your research and start seeing what parts sell for what. They were talking about DIY Mike. There's just a ton of money to be made in parting out cars on eBay.
Well, ours here, when you go in, you pay like $1 or $2, but they got computers. You can come back, put in like Dodge 88 van or car or whatever you're looking for, and they'll like tell you what section you're just going in there. But they have like a Dodge section, AAA truck section, and all that. It's pretty like sounds about.
Yeah, you can check their vehicles, you can see what their inventory is, and then you go down there and say, I'm here to look at the Dodge Caravans, and they'll send you to the Dodge Caravan section. I mean, it's hard hit in my area. I mean, there's 50 people in the lot at any one time. So I mean, it's in a metropolitan area, it's not as good to go pick and pull. You got to get out a little bit and get to some of those junkyards that are a little bit further out.
I'm guessing the one like I love getting meetings with that room. They probably got people that work there that say, hey, they call their friends, they call the guy that comes in there all the time, say, hey, we just got a new shipment of 50 cars.
Yeah. Well, I went to get F-150 wheels. I need an extra wheel. I don't have a spare tire for my F-150, and I went to pick up an F-150 wheel, and I walked in there, and they had like 17 F-150s. I walk into the guy's like, we don't have a single wheel here. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. As soon as they come in, they go out. It's literally the day it shows up, all the F-150 wheels are sold. Yeah. I'm like, well, that sucks. So.
That's crazy.
Hey, quick question. Someone's asking, where do you get cheap shipping material? Now, some people, dumpster diver, treasure hustlers are saying they get some from dumpsters. Ultra has best quality. Where do you guys get stuff from?
Amazon.
eBay.
eBay, Elf Supplies, and I get boxes, I say, from my business.
When you're starting out, finding those supplies and stuff, and if you've got the time, it's another one of those time issues. How much time do you spend chasing this stuff down versus, it's a legitimate business expense. They'll deliver it to you here, and then you get to a point where Eric's probably the same. I know he's the same part. I've got boxes everywhere. I buy boxes. I buy supplies. It's not worth my time to go hunting.
When you're starting out, you spend a lot of time finding the right size box for the products you're selling. After you've been doing it a while, you realize if you have the right size boxes before you even sell the item, the stress level is gone.
Oh, yeah.
You don't even think about it. When I get my stuff ready to ship in the mornings, I grab all my stuff, I bring it in here, I make a list of the boxes I need, and I already know what boxes I have in stock. I just go over and grab boxes, or I grab envelopes, or grab padded envelopes, or stay flats, or whatever I'm going to use. I already know I have that stuff in stock. I don't have to think about which boxes I found and what size I'm going to make something that fits. When you're starting out, you got to do that type of stuff. You're going and finding the free boxes. After a while, you realize that free actually costs you a lot of time.
When you buy the items, knowing, hey, I'm going to have to buy a box for this, because sometimes that's happened to me before. So I'm going to have to make the box.
Yeah, if you order stuff from Amazon or you find the box, there's nothing wrong with grabbing them. But for me, every box I send out of here, I'd say that 98% of the boxes and envelopes stuff I send out is a brand new item. Because it's just, I can buy 100 644 boxes, which is small but holds a lot of stuff, for $20. I can buy 100 864 baseball hats fit into for $25. And to know that I have those in stock, that is worth that much money at a time. I buy my bubble wrap from Amazon. Bubble wrap is one of the things, if you can get it locally, it's much cheaper locally. I can't get it locally. So I order it, and I get 4 rolls at a time from Amazon. I get down to my last roll, I order the next batch. It costs me $36 for 4 rolls of bubble wrap.
Yeah, there's a couple of real good sellers on eBay. The Boxery is one. They were actually at eBay Open. They got very competitive prices. And the other one I find is 3RB.
3RB, Value Mailers, it's the same company, yeah.
Yeah, they those two companies can really, if you're looking for cheap boxes. And I talked to the Boxery when I was there, and if you've got stuff that you sell that you need custom sized boxes, they'll make whatever size box you need. It might not be quite as cheap as the ones right off the shelf, but to have something that that can save you the postage, you make up the price somewhere else. So if you find that you need that, those companies will make whatever size box you want.
Yeah, I mean I get that roll of bubble wrap there. I get 4 of those at a time. It's 700 yards of bubble or feet of bubble wrap. And it cost me $36. It's a little more expensive than buying it locally. It's way cheaper than buying it at Amazon or at Walmart. I buy it like that because I want the sizes. I can get it cheaper if I buy the bigger rolls, but I have storage issues at that point. I don't want 4-foot rolls of bubble wrap. So to me, that's why I do it like that. It's just easy for me to do. I order it and it's here within 3 days. Most of my boxes I get either from eBay or I buy them off of. I actually buy my boxes off of eBay as well, besides the free ones you get from eBay, because I get it from the Boxery. And I use a lot of padded envelopes, and I buy those off of eBay typically. I know, like Jason uses Uline almost exclusively because their service is so fantastic. He picks up actually does it on the internet, puts his order in, he's got it in 2 days, and he gets very different sizes of box. That's why he gets them there. So
Harlan has feedback on your mic.
Somebody's bouncing.
Yeah.
Probably the volume might be up a little bit. Turn your volume down just a little bit, guys. But yeah, that to me, that's where I don't want to dumpster dive for boxes. My time is worth more than that. Every hour you're out spending time finding shipping supplies, you could be listing or sourcing. If you had the shipping supplies mailed to your house, it's one less thing you got to deal with. And again, if you're new and your prices are cheap and you're trying to really stretch the budget and build up an income, then yeah, maybe it's a better idea to do that. But that's at my point, I'm not going to do that anymore.
Diving, so unless you got a key source where a certain store, you get certain size boxes and that it's always there and it's not out of the way.
Well, the dollar stores are great for small boxes. I know what's the one makeup store that everybody goes to?
Ulta.
Ulta is great for small boxes. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I have no problem reusing boxes. If I order something from Amazon, the box goes into my inventory and I'll reuse it down the road. But I don't really order a whole lot from them. So it's just, to me, it's the time factor. I mean, Scott spends so much time on the road. He wants to walk in. If he's got shipping to do, he knows he's got a box for it.
Right. Well, I deal with like a mom and pop. One of my customers over like 30 years or more. He has a pharmacy, and they ship one bottle of medicine might be like this size here, in a big giant box.
Yeah.
You can't believe it. Said if they shipped everything in one box, everything I ordered, it would be no problem. But every time I order something, it's a new order. So I mean, they might get 20 boxes a day sometime. It's been a while since, but they're like 3 different sizes, and they all got MRRD on it, and they're only used once when he gets it. So I tear them down and bring them to work.
Yeah.
But,
I said I've got an anchor store, so I get $150 a quarter in supplies, and I usually buy some boxes with that. I'm fine with that too. I mean, it's where you get your boxes wherever you want to get them at. Get them free, pay for them. It doesn't make any difference. It's a cost to your business, so you're going to write it off on your against your profit anyway. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to cost you a lot of money. You're going to save a lot of money, and
the time and all that.
Peace of mind is what buying boxes got me.
Yeah.
My UPS store that I have a box at, he pretty much gives me the bubble wrap at his cost. I get one of those big, like 4.5 foot rolls for $25.
Well, I know that like Dusty and I don't know if Scott goes down there. Dusty can get bubble wrap down in his area for it's like $50, and he gets like 2 big monster rolls of bubble wrap. That's great. Bubble wrap, if you can get it locally sourced, is fantastic. Yeah, I would buy it locally if I could. I've tried. There's nobody in my town that sells it locally. I have to order it.
Right.
But if you got that option, then great, do that. I mean, you'll save a lot of money doing that. I could probably half my cost of bubble wrap, but honestly, I don't use a whole lot of bubble wrap. I put those in the padded envelopes. And now the one thing I do use is paper, the painter's paper from Lowe's. You can buy that at Lowe's or Home Depot. It's like $9 a roll, and that stuff is nicer than bubble wrap. It doesn't crush like bubble wrap, but it's heavier. You will spend some shipping money on that.
Well, I used to buy newspaper rolls and all that because we did shipping, but they charge now. Back in the day, I'd tip the guy $5 and he'd bring me 10 rolls and put in my truck.
Yeah, you can order newsprint too. You can even order that online. Uline sells newsprint.
And this was like I said,
I like the contractor paper from Lowe's. It's really good. It's a decent sized roll. It's like 140 yards or something like that. I can't remember the size of the darn roll. I have a different white paper roll. I bought it in an auction, but it's cheap. It's $10, and you cut what you need, and you pop it in there. Steve Alcorn's right. It's very heavy duty. I mean, if you got heavy stuff, it's perfect for that because it won't shift in there.
I get brown paper
for smalls
from the companies, and it's like heavy brown paper. And I got like 10, probably about 5 boxes that I save it on. A lot of times I'll call Lonnie up and say, "Hey, you want some paper?" And he'll come and get it.
So I think that's important because where Eric, y'all use the Lowe's. I use a lot more of the heavy duty craft paper in the big Amazon boxes. So I order the big rolls from Amazon. I mean, you'll find that from what you sell, you might need more bubble wrap, you might need more whatever, and so each individual person from what you sell, your supply needs will be different. So
that's what we're saying is tailor your shipping to what you're selling, and you can do a lot more. I ship a lot of paper goods, so I typically ship a lot of things in. It is not needed this morning. In stay flat envelopes. It doesn't bend very well. You can put photographs, you can put paper, brochures. This is what I call my small one. I've got a CD size one that I ship CDs in as well. I got a medium size and a really large size. These are expensive. They're not cheap, but you don't have to put anything else in there with them. You don't have to put a piece of cardboard in, things like that. And they typically are about 20 to 25, maybe 30 cents a piece for them. But I probably go through 150 of these a month. But think about how easy it is to ship a brochure in this. You drop it in, you feel it, you bend it down, you seal it, and you throw the label on it.
So I'm just using like the vanilla envelopes with like a piece of cardboard. But like I said, I bought all the vanilla envelopes at a garage sale for like dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And I saved my cardboard and cut pieces in there. So I'm not paying a lot, but like I said, if I had to start buying it, then I might look at buying this white envelope.
Yeah, Nana Chick is right. This is what I ship my postcards in. And I can ship 20 or 30 postcards in one mailing and not have to worry about them getting damaged or beat up in this. So it's great for multi-quantity stuff. I ship manuals and stuff like this. I ship movie posters in this.
So that's in a lot of white postcards.
Slides. I use my small ones. I'll ship a couple of slides. I'll usually put a slide in a coin envelope first, and then I'll pop it in the smaller version of this.
That's in a lot of decals and all that. Basically I put it in a small envelope, piece of cardboard. I even put a picture of that all the time in with the photo so they see how I'm shipping it. Because if it was a reproduction, I just put it in an envelope and put 50 cents on it. But a $7 to a $15 decal they don't make anymore. And it's not reproduction.
Yeah, it's 30 cents. But you know what? I charge typically somewhere between $3.50 and $4.95 for first class.
That's what I do. I'll charge
for something like this, it's probably going to be a $4.95 ship.
Right.
It's going to cost me probably $3.50 to ship it. And I'm going to make $1.30. Well, I got to pay fees on that, and then the cost of my shipping supplies and my time. It's all in the cost of shipping. That's why I don't mind charging $4.95 for shipping, because I guarantee I've never had a complaint about a postcard or something getting bent in the mail. So you got to again tailor your stuff, your shipping supplies around what you're selling. Know that you can, every morning when you wake up and go and do your shipping, you've got the package for it. If you do that, your stress levels when it comes to shipping are way, way down.
Especially when you buy the item too, if you have a box earmarked. So not when you sell it, oops, I got to find a box, If you buy a big weird item, so I need to make sure I have a box when I do sell it,
That I don't list anything unless I know how to ship it.
And understand, this is the hardest thing to learn for most sellers. I mean, eBay shipping is, you can lose your butt. I mean, to streamline it and make it easier for yourself, so you understand the cost, really makes your business run much smoother.
Yeah, my brother's just starting out on eBay. My younger brother, he's been around me and my older brother. My older brother sold for years. I've been selling for years, and he's just getting into it. And he has a full-time job. He doesn't need eBay as an income. And I was talking with him yesterday. And he was talking about, I lost my butt on shipping. I'm like, you know what? You're in your learning period. Don't worry about it. You're going to learn shipping. I don't care if you make a dime on eBay for the next 3 months. You're learning how to run the business and how it works. I said, as long as you don't disappoint your customers, it doesn't matter if you make money or lose money. You're learning the business. And not everybody's in that position where he's got a good full-time job that he can do that and not worry about it. But you got to learn the business, and we all learn. I mean, there isn't a single person on this panel that hasn't lost their butt on a product because they screwed up on the shipping. I guarantee I have.
I have too. So guys, I'm taking off. I got to get early. I got a race to go tomorrow in Wilson this year in about an hour.
All right.
Yeah, we're going to close it down in a couple minutes. Anyone has to subscribe to Swamp Picker's channel, please do. The link's down in the description. Thank you, Glynn, for stopping in. If you want to, anything you want to push this week, if you're releasing any videos or anything you're doing?
Not lately. Like I said, I haven't really been hitting the garage sales. I hit one this morning. I kind of showed it on Anthony's channel, and I got two pair of Nikes. They were giving everything away for free. There's a church across the street from me. And I said, I feel guilty, because I'm a resale. It's not like I'm going to use it. And poor people were coming up getting this stuff. So I got the two best of Nikes and gave her $6 and all that, and all that. But if I would have had the room and all that, I'd probably say, hey, here's $100. You can just close it down. I'll take it all. They had probably 20 or 30 pair of women's shoes and all kinds of different things. I just had a garage sale in front of my business and sell everything for $3 a piece and just triple my money and get rid of it that way.
I like buying everything. I like going to a place, and when you have the opportunity to buy it all, why let your competitor come in and buy some of the same stuff you're selling? I mean, it's just.
Well, bye, guys. I'll see y'all probably in the shows tomorrow or this week.
All right, Glynn. If I don't see you before then, I'll see you down in Nashville then, buddy.
Okay, man. See you, man.
Yeah, forward to it, Glynn.
John, what's going on? Anything? You're doing videos now every day, right?
Oh, I'm trying to put out a daily video. No guarantees. Like Sunday is church day, so I don't really do a whole lot. So there's probably not going to be a video, say Monday, but then there'll be a video Sunday because of what I did today. But yeah, so I'm trying to put out a video every day, just trying to see if that helps. I was told that that's what you have to do to be successful, but I tend to think that there's a lot more going on than what I know, than what people are willing to share with me.
Eric, anything you want to push or going on this coming week?
Not really. Like I said, I'm kind of digging through what we bought this last weekend, kind of getting that stuff up. I will probably put out a video here in a day or two, but I don't guarantee it. We'll see. I might do a small haul video on some of the stuff we bought, but more like a what I sold type video because I'm just too busy right now.
Right. Yeah, we got to get together, but the schedule's busy. We're going to do that postcards from the past thing that we talked about. I got a case coming from Chris the Goose. I remember I asked you at the auction last week, and you thought it was a fair deal. I went and then the next day and bought him from him. And we were on Scott's show last night. Chris was on there too. Good guy from Texas. And Scott, I know you Tuesday you're going to do your show, right?
Yeah, I'll do it Tuesday and Thursday, and I'll do a lot of filming up there in Nashville.
Right.
I've got yard sale videos coming out, but I bought so much stuff last week that I am overwhelmed.
Is it Amazon or eBay stuff?
It's all Amazon.
Yeah,
When you buy enough stuff,
in your listing, or is he back at school now?
He's back. He goes back to school Wednesday, so
Okay.
he's handling shipping and everything a couple more days. It's just crazy when you think how much that I ended up buying. I had to send 6 boxes home so I could bring 14 home with me in the van, and then the last 3 stores I went to, I didn't have any room, so I put the suitcase in the front seat and packed everything.
That's the way I looked on the drive home this last weekend. I mean, I know how it is. The minivans, when you fold those seats down, they hold a crap ton of space. I mean, you can put a lot of product in a van that you may not realize. I mean, it's
I had 14 large home the Lowe's boxes, but they're the same thing. 14 24 by 18 boxes, a suitcase, my rolling bag, a camera bag, my backpack, and then everything. I couldn't see out any window. I couldn't see the roof in the back. When I would stop, stuff would hit me in the head. It was just awful. It ended up filling up a total of 24 boxes total.
That was a fast trip too. You did that in 4 days?
Yeah, I left here Sunday night at 10 p.m. and I got back here Thursday about 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Hey, Melissa wants to know, Scott, is your show on regular schedule next week?
Yeah, it'll be regular schedule.
Right. And I'll probably be on Tuesday, and then Thursday I'm doing the show with Kimmy, but I'm going to have to do it from the road. But I think where I'm staying at, I'm just going to go from there because she's hosting, and then I'll be down with Scott. And Scott, how many people you think are coming? That was a question earlier before you came on. Between
30 to 40, I would bet. I think he's got 30 confirmed, I think.
Right, exactly. So then we'll be filming and doing some stuff from there. And like I said, on the way home, I'm going to go a little bit out of the way and stop and see John at Nevermore Antiques. Plan to spend a day there with him. And then I'll be traveling back through. And Eric, I'll talk to you because I'm going to swing through that way, Ohio. I may stop and see you. So it's going to be a long trip for me.
Yeah, I know Harlan to do some lives because the one thing he's taken a 2-3 weeks of not doing any reselling, but he still wants to get a little bit of video content out. So I know he'll do some lives because that's the one nice thing about lives is the editing is not there. It goes up. And
Right. Dino Mac, yes, buddy. Thank you. Wednesday I do that show, All Things Ecom with Jess Hill. She's a big Amazon seller, and we do that at 10 o'clock in the morning. Thanks for reminding me. That's 10 to 11. This will be the 4th episode, and we're going to focus on keywords. She's actually gave me this week. I'm going to send in. I already did some and sending in a lot of grocery items that are coming up, and she's been actually a great help for me, just as Scott has. And my Amazon game has gotten better actually the past 6 weeks. So I'm excited about the opportunity. I never want the attitude to go in that I had to make this money in a month. That I felt like I'd give myself a 2-year plan, and then if it didn't work by then I wouldn't do it no more. So I'm happy with what I'm doing so far. So, hey, John, thanks for coming in late. But guys, I want to thank everyone for showing up. Thank you guys and the viewers. I mean, the show stayed strong, like 45 the whole time. So I think that's the best it's probably ever done as far as, to hang in there that long for over 2 hours. So thank you guys, and you guys have a great night, and take care.
Good night, everybody.